Good evening, everyone. I would like to open up the special meeting of the Ansonia Board of Aldermen. If everybody would please stand for the pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America,
and to the
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well done, everyone. Well done. Could I get a roll call at this time?
Alderman King,
Here.
Alderman Farrar,
Here.
Alderman Adamowski,
Here.
Alderwoman Tarr,
Here.
Alderman Cassetti,
Here.
Alderman Janetti, Alderman Nutt,
Here.
Alderman Hardy,
Here.
Alderman Yauman, Alderman Rivers,
Here.
Alderman Mamone,
Here.
President Short,
Here.
Alderman Levinsky,
Here.
Alderman Durante. 11 present, 3 absent.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to accept the I'd like a nomination to accept the resignation of Joseph Jalman.
I'll make a
Fifth Ward Alderman, and wish him well and thank him very much for his service.
I'll make a motion to accept his resignation, Mayor, and to send him a letter of thanks for all of his years of service to not only this board, but countless other committees he was on.
That's correct. That's correct. Thank you very much, Joe. And thank you, Tony. At this time, I would like to open up nominations for Fifth Ward Alderman replacement of Joe Yauman.
Mayor,
Are there any nominations?
Did anyone second?
Mayor, we need to second that.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I
I'll
apologize.
second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay. Now I'd like to open up the nominations to replace Mr. Jalman in the Fifth Ward for Alderman. Do we have a nomination?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Kevin Mello, lifelong Ansonia resident, to replace Joe Yauman as the Fifth Ward Alderman, jointly with Alderman Rivers.
Okay. And do we have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Are there any other nominations for Fifth Ward Alderman? Are there any other nominations for Fifth Ward Alderman? A third and final time, any other nominations? Having none, I'll close the nominations. All those for Kevin Mello as the replacement for Joe Yauman in the Fifth Ward as Alderman signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay.
Congratulations, Kevin.
Congratulations. At this time, I'll swear you in, Kevin. If you would please stand and raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear that you will faithfully discharge according to laws your duties as the Fifth Ward Alderman to the best of your ability, so help you God.
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, you could take
It's an honor.
You could take your seat. I'll make a motion at this time to adjourn the special meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
To our regular meeting.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone.
Please stick around. This is the same link we'll use for the 7 regular meetings. Good evening and welcome to the Ansonia Board of Aldermen meeting for August 12th. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trish, can we get a roll call?
Alderman King,
Here.
Alderman Farrar,
Here.
Alderman Adamowski,
Yeah, here.
Alderwoman Tarr.
She's here.
She's here somewhere. Oh, there she is. Alderwoman Tarr.
Alderman
Mute iPhone 26.
Probably say, don't say blue, let's say 5 say blue.
iPhone 26, yeah, great, okay. Alderman Cassetti,
Here.
Alderman Janetti, Alderman Nutt,
Here.
Alderman Hardy, Alderman Mello,
Here.
Alderman Rivers,
Yeah.
Alderman Mamone,
I'm here, Trish.
President Stewart,
Here.
Alderman Levinsky,
Here.
Alderman Durante. 11 present, 3 absent.
All right, I declare a quorum. We have minutes to consider from last month, 2 sets of minutes, the July 8th regular meeting and the July 23rd special meeting.
Motion to accept both sections of minutes. Jeez.
Motion to
Second.
accept by Mamone, second by Cassetti. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We will move on to public session, opportunity for the public to address the Board of Aldermen. Just a quick reminder, as usual, please address yourself for the public record and potential follow-up by the city. Please try to limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. And with that, we will open up the public session for any interested speakers. Please make yourself known. Steve Kish, you're first in the queue. Go ahead.
Hey, Josh, you could hear me?
Yep.
Okay, Stephen Kish, 21 Chester Street. Just saw on the agenda that there was the tennis courts were going to be discussed, and I believe color pattern and stuff like that. So someone reached out and just to find out if there was any suggestions on colors and stuff like that. So I reached out to Ryan Santos, so also our head varsity girls tennis coach, and I'm the JV coach. So if it's anything or 2 cents, the pictures we saw on the pamphlet that were submitted, I don't know if those are the color schemes that they were thinking of using, or if there's a whole gamut of color swatches and stuff like that. But obviously really like the darker blue. We did like it with that light gray that was offered in the picture. Only concern is that if they can guarantee the white border of the actual tennis court lines is enough of a contrast between the two where we wouldn't mistake a ball hitting the outside white line versus the gray, the grayer color. If that's too much of a closer in color between the gray and the white, then we would, be comfortable with that green option, which I think is pretty similar to what the Woodland Courts is made up of. But definitely the blue on the inside courts looks great. That's all I had.
Thank you. Appreciate that feedback.
Hey, Josh, I'm not sure. Steve, do you plan to stick around when we talk about that? It's Tony.
If you need me to, I can. I wasn't planning, but don't have much going on tonight. So if you need me, I'll stick around.
Guys, I can give a spoiler on this. So tonight we were going to ask the board to pick out some color combinations to turn into renderings.
Okay.
To make a selection from there. So I would say, obviously, if there's some recommended color combinations that Coach Kish or any of the other coaches could give us, they could give it tonight or tomorrow. They certainly don't need to stay on because we're not going to be definitively making a selection tonight, just coming up with probably our top 4 choices to see renderings on. Although I think that the darker blue is probably going to be a huge part of the consensus, I would predict in some way, just a matter of what it's being combined with.
So we were definitely 100% on board with the blue. It's just making sure that outside the gray really looked cool in our opinion, both me and Ryan. But again, just want to make sure there's a contrast between the out of bounds lines versus the outside color. So that would be our only hiccup on that grayish color.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Josh.
Other speakers, interested speakers to address the board. Anyone else from the public? Next, Jacqueline Daniels.
Hi,
Hello.
having a good night. My name is Jacqueline Daniels, resident of 404 North Main Street. I'm over by Colony Park, and just wondering if there's any updates on that with the other park updates, as well. And then a question on the transfer funds as well for the fund balance. What expenses were covered for that? That would be amazing to hear more on that. Just asking as like a resident and wanting some transparency on the budget and the health of Ansonia's fiscal budget as well.
I'll make Diana one.
And then also on that as well,
Which one? The green one?
due to the charter and everything, we have to not fall under a certain percentage. Where are we at with that? Just trying to think of it in the terms of the future again on Ansonia's fiscal health and how it's going to impact residents.
Thank you. We don't come to the meeting obviously with the financial information, but there's finance people here, and we can definitely follow up with you.
That sounds great.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next is Ann Lynch. You're up. You're muted also. You're muted.
I don't want to be that person that you hear the background noise. Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ann Lynch, and I reside at 15 Birchwood Drive. There are a few things that I would like to bring to the board's attention tonight. First, the contract negotiation with the Shelton Development Corporation for Economic Development has been on the agenda since April. I don't understand why this negotiation is taking so long with no information regarding this being shared with the citizens of Ansonia. Let's be honest, this negotiation is costing the taxpayers money. Also, with 90 days to the election, I ask all of the Board of Aldermen, don't agree to any more 5-year contracts. Do what's right. I just don't think this should be done in Ansonia, but for other towns as well. No current administration should be able to vote on contracts, especially personnel ones, with an election right around the corner. Like I said, I'm just not talking about Ansonia. I feel that this should be everywhere. Another thing that I would like to discuss is the fields. I read the draft policy that was attached to this agenda. First, number 13, you forgot to remove the town of Newtown. Second, no fees for renting Nolan or any other fields was attached to this agenda. That is something that should be discussed amongst the Recreation Board first. The entire policy should be discussed with the Recreation Board before the Board of Aldermen votes on anything. That's why we need to bring the Recreation Board back. Lastly, please make sure the policy states that all Ansonia High School sports and Ansonia recreation teams get priority when it comes to using Ansonia's fields. This will require our recreation director and our athletic director at the high school to work closely together when it comes to scheduling practices and games. Another suggestion would be for the policy to also state what sport gets priority depending on what sports season it is. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next speaker is Lisa Glazer. Has her hand up.
Josh, can you mute everybody else so we can hear the speakers, please?
I'm not the Zoom host. I'm just the meeting host.
I hope everybody heard me.
Oh yeah, we heard you.
Hey, everybody, can you hear me?
Yes.
Lisa Glazer, 56 Howinski Way. I got to look at the contract that we're considering for this HR COO position, and I'm just wondering how many applicants did we look at before we chose this one? So I'd like to get that information. I'd also like to find out exactly why somebody that doesn't have the qualifications yet, because I understand he's got to go through some education. Why are we agreeing to pay him $130,000 a year without him having the experience? You know, if it was somebody who had a ton of experience with HR, I would say that's fine. And to offer him to start with 7 weeks vacation, I mean, there's people at Sikorsky's that have been there 40 years that don't get 7 weeks vacation. I just think that's a little over the top. And I'd also like to know why it is that just within a month or month and a half of approving a budget, after a costly 3 referendums, I'm trying to figure out why all of a sudden we need to pull $1 million out of our rainy day fund. So is there somebody specific, Josh, that I should wait for these answers?
Well, I would take that up with, that's a boat for the financial stuff, which I believe they met last night or last Monday. So I would follow up with that board.
Well, no, I'm talking about the HR and COO, those positions. Who can follow up? Because I'd like to get a copy of his resume and see what HR experience he has. And, you know, comparatively, when you look at Indeed or ZipRecruiter, these numbers are a little high for somebody who hasn't been doing this job. That's all.
Thank you. Okay, those two hands are already on. Anyone else from the public who wishes to address the board?
Yes, I would.
I'm
Hello?
looking. Yep.
Hello?
I hear a
Hello?
voice. I don't see a body.
It's Tara
Okay, go ahead.
Kolakowski.
Yes, you're up. Go ahead.
Tara Kolakowski, 14 Farrell Drive, Ansonia, Connecticut. I have a couple questions regarding the new position that was put out and we have up for vote, I believe, at the Board of Aldermen this evening. Did that position go through the salary committee? And then after it came out of the salary committee, did it go through the full Board of Aldermen to approve a new position for the city of Ansonia? Because that is not an existing position the way it is worded. There's a human resources position, but the way that this position has a title, that is a new position to the city. And in my experience, after being the acting personnel director for a while, we had to go through the salary committee. And I know there's members on the board that were there when I was there. And then after the salary committee, we had to go out and do a complete search and then bring it to the Board of Aldermen, and they would vote on whether or not they wanted to create the position and then whether or not we were going to hire the person. So were those steps taken?
This is a non-union position.
Doesn't matter if it's non-union, Josh, it's a new position within the city. All new positions have to go through the salary committee and then on to the Board of Aldermen for approval. If it didn't go through the salary committee, there's an issue. Doesn't matter whether it's union or not.
Thank
So
you.
did it go through the salary committee?
This did not go to the salary committee. Correct.
Therefore, I think you guys are jumping the gun because it has to go through the salary committee, has to come out of the salary committee, be brought to the entire Board of Aldermen. They have to vote on whether to create the position and then go back and go out and advertise the position. And again, doesn't matter if it's non-union or not.
No.
Yeah. Joe, yes.
No.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
We're
It
doing
has to
it,
go through the salary committee.
we're doing it the way it's supposed to be done.
So I'll
Joe,
kind
no,
of
you're not.
opine here from Corporation Counsel.
You'll get a
In
letter.
the past, a decade ago, there was a process to go through the salary committee. It was sort of, I guess, an informal process that the Board of Aldermen
Wasn't it
supervised.
informal, John? It
But
was a
there's
formal
actually nothing in
process.
the charter or the code about the salary committee. And
So
so
the
the full Board of
charter was
Aldermen that
changed?
obviously
So was
no,
the, John, was the
Tara,
charter
not.
changed?
can
It
we
was not.
stop interrupting? He's trying to explain to you.
So you also remember that the Board of Aldermen encompasses the salary committee, so any action of the Board of Aldermen is going to be above and beyond any committee of the Board of Aldermen.
Well, if you follow the
Really.
charter, as
John,
we
just
did,
put it in
John,
writing and send it.
and you were a part of it, it
You're
had to go through
wasting
the
time
salary
here.
committee. It's not a waste of time. It had
It's
to go through the
wasting
salary
time.
committee and then come out. Do you want another lawsuit and then have John and you guys have to settle? Because that's a $600,000+ that's coming out of the million you have to take out of the reserve fund because
Send
of
her
a
a
lawsuit.
letter.
So
We
you can
have-
send a letter,
have
but
an
you're all
attorney.
accountable.
We have an attorney.
Okay, it's taken
Yeah.
under advisement. But
She
that's
don't
what
know.
the
You still
charter
work for the
says.
city? You should be seen and not heard. You're in Shelton.
You
Please
can,
stop
you will
berating.
hear me. We do have an attorney.
Can we cut her?
Please stop berating city staff. This is
Yeah.
an opportunity to address the board, not yell at staff and dispute everything that they say. So thank you. Andrew, has your 3 minutes. So thank you. Any other speakers that would like to address the board? I see Patricia Da Silva.
My name is Patricia Da Silva. I reside at 23 Hull Street in Ansonia.
Hello, Pat.
And Hi there. Hi. I'm really curious how our Board of Aldermen justify a 5-year contract that will end up costing, including fringe, I don't know, $500,000, give or take, when we're still plugging holes. Every week it comes up, oh, we got to, didn't just a week or so ago, we have to take another million to plug some holes in the budget. Not to mention some seriously disappointed, children and other neighbors who missed out on playground programs and concerts. And, I'll take this offline, but I am all ears how this can possibly make sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Other speakers? Sean is next. Sean Rallis.
Yeah, Sean Rallis. I'm on 18 Mott Street. I had a question about this just from the we're saying this was an internally posted role. If this were an externally posted role, would the same concessions have been given to an outside candidate in terms of compensating licensing and training and things of that nature to get them up to speed?
Get you a letter. Thanks.
Is that your comment? Is that the extent of your comment? Just a question?
Yeah, I just had a question. I don't know if it was really answered by Joe, but yeah, I'm just curious. Yeah, what would have been afforded to an outside hire for this? Because we're doing it for an internal candidate, but if somebody who lacked the experience was brought in, would they be considered the same affordability to the role?
Okay. Thank you.
In theory, isn't he an external candidate to begin with? He is not employed by the city of Ansonia now.
He's still an alderman and has internal experience, Tony.
He is not an employee, though, of the city. He is not a paid employee.
But you hired somebody that doesn't have any
we're not
having
a
free-for-all, guys.
Yeah, come on.
But still, that says we're offering.
Call to order, I said.
All right.
I was going to explain, usually when we use the distinction internal and external, that applies to union positions. So an internal advertising is limited to within a unit. External is anything out of that one unit, whether it be from the public at large or even from another unit. So in this case, it's a non-union position, one of the very few non-union executive level positions in the city. And so it is one that could be really solicited in any manner the mayor chooses. You often hear of positions like chief of staff, personnel in this case, constituent director. These positions in cities are often non-union at the pleasure of the mayor and subject to negotiation with the Board of Aldermen. So it's a different process than what we do, obviously, when we're hiring a unit position, whether it be a supervisor unit, a clerical unit, public works, or so forth. And obviously, in terms of what is extended to the candidate, it's commensurate with their education, experience, skills, and of course, overall ability to get the job done.
But he has none.
Those are all things that, of course, the Board of Aldermen took into account negotiating this employment contract.
Sheila, you might want to mute yourself if you're going to make all that noise.
No, I don't want to mute myself.
Can we mute Lisa's iPhone? I was trying to listen to the okay. Any other speakers?
Can you enable the chat?
No, we have public session and then we have no public session. And then we have our meeting for the next 4 hours. After
So
that,
then will the chat be enabled for the meeting?
the chat is
No,
normally
we
not enabled because anyone can speak and whatever they would like. Limit of 1 time per person as usual. And we try to engage the back and forth. All right. Any other fresh speakers from the public who would like to address the board tonight?
Yes, please.
Okay, where to hear the voice?
It's Keith.
Keith, go ahead.
Yes. Keith Maynard, 8 Cook Street. I'm not sure if Public Works met for August or not. I can't find any minutes or didn't see an agenda posted. But there's a flooding issue over here on Cook Street. During any heavy rainfall, a few years ago, Frank Pepe came over and he put a little Band-Aid on it. It's still flooding over here. I sent photos to Tim Holman down at Public Works, along with Dan King, who's the liaison for Alderman. I was told that the city engineer would be reaching out. I haven't heard anything from either one. Water comes down the hill. I've already replaced 2 garage doors over at 11 Cook Street because of the flooding deteriorating over the years. And if this flooding continues to happen, I'll be replacing a 3rd. I reached out back in June when this happened. Basically what happens, the water comes down the hill, starts bubbling up out of the catch basin, and then it enters the property next door, which is 11 Cook Street. Deteriorates, erosion, everything. I tried to get a little bit of patch to take care of the erosion, and I ended up doing it myself because I never got a response. So if someone could come out and look at this and try to come up with a solution to prevent any further flooding, I'd really appreciate it.
Thank you. Other speakers from the public who wish to address the board?
2, 3.
Any other speakers from the public? Thomas Egan, you are next.
Thank you. Thomas Egan, 20 Platt Street here in Ansonia, Connecticut. Appreciate you giving me a chance to speak today. I'm going to make just a brief criticism of the contract that was promulgated. If someone's doing a role for HR, I don't think that we should be having to pay for their attorney licensing fees. It's just me. It's not related. But you guys are the Board of Aldermen. You guys make your own decisions. Something that concerned me that came up a couple months ago. The city of Ansonia, they walked away from a $150 million private investment that would have created over 1,000 jobs, about $30 million in tax revenue, and a chance to turn the city into a state leader in manufacturing clean energy. This is the March 15th proposal for a new steel mill, a solar panel manufacturing facility, a research center, an office park, and even a fire school. And the city just walked away from it, and I'm a little surprised. This wasn't a pipe dream. This was a real, fully funded proposal backed by serious investors ready to build here. Other cities in Connecticut and across the country are fighting tooth and nail for opportunities like this. And Ansonia had it handed to us. We turned it away. And here's the part that should trouble every taxpayer in the city. There was no public discussion. There was no transparent review and no explanation, just a quiet dismissal behind closed doors. I don't think the proposal even made it to the Board of Aldermen. I'll put it plainly. You don't grow a city by slamming the door in its future and calling it leadership. And review, this is about more than one project. It's about a pattern. Opportunities come knocking. Instead of answering, we pretend no one's home. Meanwhile, residents are stuck with higher taxes, fewer jobs, and crumbling infrastructure. Ansonia cannot afford to keep missing these chances because of issues with politics or personal grudges or even a fear of change. If our current leaderships won't fight for growth, jobs, and a better future, then I think it's time for new leadership that will. On a separate note, and I think it was a good thing, I know that we attempted to, or the city of Ansonia, you, the Board of Aldermen, attempted to make a Economic Development Commission, or thereabouts. And I think that's a step in the right direction. I think for the city going forward, especially for this next year coming up, we should be focusing on business development and fiscal solvency. My name's Thomas Egan. Love you, Ansonia.
Thank you. Any other public speakers tonight? Speakers from the public? Last call for speakers from the public. Seeing none, we'll close the public session, move on to public official session, starting with the mayor. Mayor Cassetti, please.
Can you hear me, Josh?
Yes.
Good evening, President Short, members of the Board of Aldermen, and residents of the great city of Ansonia. I'm going to start by asking for a moment of silence for Peter Burns Sr., who passed away on July 26th. I will speak more about this great man a little bit later in my update. Thank you. First of all, it is with great excitement and enthusiasm that we welcome now former Alderman Attorney Joe Yauman, who will join my mayoral staff. Joe is experienced, intelligent, and quite capable administrator. He will be a welcome addition and will hit the ground running. Thank you, Joe, for your many years of dedicated service on this board and other boards, and we welcome you with open arms in joining our administrative staff. Congratulations to Kevin Mello as the new member of our Board of Aldermen in the 5th Ward. We have accomplished many things in the last 12 years and have seen great progress here in Ansonia. And we have a lot of things to accomplish moving forward. Speaking of accomplishments, in a few short days, we will reignite our paving program with the addition of sidewalk rehabilitation efforts and speed tables in key areas. Thank you to the residents and this board for their support in funding this effort. I want to highlight some of the key initiatives of this paving effort. We will be doing 22,000 square feet of concrete sidewalks on Meadow Street, High Street, Howard Avenue, Church Street, Hall Street, and Tomlinson. 3 speed tables will be installed on North Cliff Street, 3 on North State Street with painted and signage. Additional speed tables will be looked into. In terms of paving, I have to say that we have put forth a remarkable effort. In the next 2 years alone, 30 roads will be repaved. That is a milestone considering that prior to my administration, only 91 roads total were paved over a 20-year span. This year will mark 115 roads paved throughout Ansonia. I am proud of these efforts and will continue to push for more infrastructure improvements. 2 large grants, one on Wakely Avenue and the upcoming State Street projects, are also part of this effort. I believe in keeping our infrastructure up to date and improving the lives of our residents. Now I'm going to talk about my friend, Peter Burns Sr. Peter Burns Sr. was not only the voice of DeCarlo and Dahl for many years, but he was a friend and a mentor to Sheila O'Malley and everyone who came to work with him and knew him personally, and a problem solver aficionado. There was no problem, large or small, that Peter couldn't diplomatically find a way through to resolution. He was a great leader, Board of Aldermen president, and a gentleman. He helped everyone and did it with a smile, unless you got his Irish up. If you did not have the distinct privilege of knowing Peter Burns Sr., I am sorry. His loss is a great loss for Ansonia, the Valley, and Connecticut. Here's just a small handful of projects Peter had a role in that helped shape Ansonia. Ansonia Upper Main Street revitalization, Ansonia Technology Park Plan and renovation of Liberty Street Neighborhood Development Plan, Liberty Street physical improvements, new road infrastructure, new private housing construction, new public neighborhood park, Ansonia Fountain Lake Commerce Center, Farrell Boulevard, the Ansonia Riverwalk segments 1 through 8, Ansonia Fountain Lake Commerce Center, utility infrastructure plans, relocation of Ansonia Senior Center, Small Cities Program for Upper Main Street, facade restoration, Ansonia Multi-Phase Park and Riverwalk urban redevelopment projects in the downtown area, West Main Street revitalization site improvements plan, Main Street improvements, train station improvements, Ansonia Copper and Brass study, Fountain Lake road design, SHW new access road and site pads, Nolan Field and other fields. Tonight, is a special night in the life of our city because tonight we place the name of Peter Burns Sr. on a place that will be enjoyed for generations to come. Peter is a lifelong son of Ansonia, a man whose roots run deep in our streets, our neighborhoods, and our history. His devotion to his community has been nothing short of extraordinary. For decades, he has poured his heart and soul into making Ansonia a better place. Simply put, he loved his hometown and the people in it. The park on Prospect Street, 1 Prospect Street, is now to stand as a living tribute to that spirit. Every child who laughs here, every neighbor who gathers here, every family that makes a memory here, they will be touched in some way by the legacy of Peter Burns Sr. To Patty, his loving wife, Dr. Peter Burns Jr. and Patty, his son and daughter, and their families, on behalf of the city of Ansonia, we thank your father, your dad, your grandfather for decades of service, his quiet leadership, and his profound wisdom. He has shown us what it means to be a true friend and outstanding citizen. With this board's permission, it is my great honor to officially dedicate this park at 1 Prospect Street, the Peter Burns Sr. Memorial Park. May it forever remind us of the power of one person's love for their community. A plaque will be dedicated in his honor and placed at the park. This park is located across from the Burns first family home here in Ansonia. Now, I want to call upon Peter Burns Jr. and ask if he had anything he would like to say on behalf of his family.
Yes, I would like to thank the mayor and everybody involved in this. You know, I was thinking about the park. My father would come home and in a tie, I would have his baseball glove, which was like circa 1950, and I would give it to him and we would walk right across the street to the park and throw a baseball in the park. And so it's a fitting tribute. I was going to say I thought my father would live forever if Fountain Lake didn't kill him, but I don't think that's appropriate for the for this meeting. I said it anyway. My father loved Ansonia. He had, you know, one tier of loves, and Ansonia was right on it. And he would be so happy to have this honor. And something tells me he's, you know, his spirit and energy is with us tonight, and will be with us forever. So thank you again. I really appreciate it. It's a loving tribute and a fitting tribute, and I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Burns. And that's my report. God bless Peter Burns Sr. and God bless the city of Ansonia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Peter, for coming tonight. Next, we'll move for a Corporation Council update. John Marini.
All right, Mr. President, members of the board. First, I want to echo the mayor's comments about Peter Burns. I worked over the course of the last decade on a lot of projects with Peter, and he gave the city a lot of great guidance and direction. But for as much as he cared about the projects, cared about the people, even more, whether it be those of us in City Hall or the city as a whole. So it was an honor to work with him, an honor to get guidance from him. And he's really going to be missed. But what he did stays on with everything we've been able to accomplish in this city over the last decade. I think Peter would like to hear this. I think the mayor mentioned at the beginning about the roads, right? But we can announce that as of next year, we will have paved our 100th road over the last course of the last administration. So I think the mayor kind of went over the numbers, but so far, since the mayor took office, we've paved 97 roads within 12 years. And with your next slate of improvements, an additional 12 roads, and additionally sidewalks and speed bumps, you will cross the threshold and we will pave a 100th road in 2026.
Just correction, John. They are speed tables, not speed
table.
bumps.
Oh, yes. Don't
Very
worry.
important. Similar to what we have down on Long Wharf in New Haven. Okay. Yep. And that's what I'm looking to do.
And we're going to be doing these in a way so that we could sort of monitor and test their effectiveness. So we're choosing streets that make sense in terms of the problems on the road. And we want to, of course, see how it works before we expand the speed table idea to the rest of the city. But that is a good point. Speed bumps do have a reputation of doing damage to vehicles, sometimes more harm than good, and even dangerous in the wrong contexts. So the speed tables that the mayor has pushed will allow for a more gradual stop to the speed. And we're hoping to roll that program out and see how it works by early next year.
Okay.
I want to take a step aside to say thank you to everyone that has helped with our response, whether you know or don't know. But we had a bit of an environmental emergency up at the high school 2 weekends ago, resulting from an underground oil tank. A generator at the high school typically draws gasoline, diesel fuel from the tank to operate every weekend. And somehow there was a glitch, and the oil ended up not being pulled all the way, leaked out to the surface, and actually headed toward the reservoir. So DEEP was called in. Our public works crew and our fire department went out on that Saturday afternoon to be first responders, and a coordinated effort that involved Public Works, Jason St. Jacques and Tim Holman, and all our fire officials helped the beginnings of a response to that disaster, along with DEEP's guidance. And the city is in the process of working with DEEP, the Board of Education, with Mr. Jared Heon, with our Public Works, Bobby Evans from the Board of Ed, and other officials to coordinate a response to ensure that this issue is put to rest and that we avoid any similar issues in the city in the future. So thanks to all involved on that ongoing effort. And just let me know, members of the board, if you have any questions relative to that. I hadn't heard any yet at the end of this update or later. Good news, Nolan Field continues to be a source of very good news. We are on track for having Side A, otherwise known as the main football field / soccer field and main baseball diamond, complete and ready to go for next week. So August 15th was the date the turf was supposed to be in. Turf is already in. They're just fine tuning. They're doing improvements now to the surrounding facilities. For example, freshening up the bleachers and detailing some other buildings according to the contract that this board approved. So we're very much ready for the upcoming football season. And I'm happy to report that it looks like Side B is really moving faster than scheduled. And we think that turf will be down on Side B by the end of September. That's a conservative estimate that Field Turf is giving us, which brings us up to what we need to do and what the Board of Aldermen needs to do to prepare. Immediately to work on more colors. You know, at our last meeting, we had a thrilling hour-long discussion about lines, and we saw many lines, and we chose which ones worked best. But this time, we have to talk about colors for the courts. And you have a packet that shows some ideas. There's a link to some other ideas. What we're looking for is basically to get a sense of what color schemes you're interested in seeing worked up. And then I would defer to this board whether you'd like to continue to work on making the final selection or kick it to those most affected, our tennis coaches and team, and our rec director who oversees the basketball program. So it's going to be at your pleasure as it comes up later tonight, but we have to now start to fine tune the selection on coloring for the courts. Also, and perhaps most importantly, a policy, a field use policy, and a comprehensive planning for how to deal with the great amount of use that we're going to get out of this multi-purpose new facility, both sides, right? So we've asked Jeff Capola, our recreation director, to start the process by creating a draft field use policy. He has done that, and that is in the public packet. What I would ask for tonight is to have our Board of Aldermen create a subcommittee of members who are dedicated to this cause to start meeting with Jeff and with our teams to refine and finalize that policy. And I'm envisioning a subcommittee that has the energy and the willingness to start meeting relatively quickly, like within the next week, and with relative frequency. And of course, these would be public meetings because we want to ensure that this is fine-tuned over the course of August so we have something to bring to this board and approve in September. It's going to require some work. It's going to require a lot of good listening and responsiveness to our teams. And so, I would, again, deferring to President Stewart, what your pleasure is. The group could be any size, but we're looking for individuals who are willing to stick with it and get it done. I want to let you know that we're in the process of hiring a new library director. I want to say big thanks to Jen Lester, who retired, retiring library director. Big thanks to her work and service for the city, moving that our city library forward. We're going to be proceeding to interviews once the application period closes. And paralleling that, we're hiring 2 to 4 new pages. And these, of course, are the part-time workers at the library. And that part-time page program has gone a long way with allowing for more flexibility at the library and expansion of services, especially programming. So those are big things going on at the library. You'll hear much more on in September, at which time we'll probably be reporting hires and new leadership at the library. I want to talk about the Bend Solar Project, really just to set this up. Back some time ago, you authorized settlement payments to residents adjacent to the Bend Street Solar Project. This is payments to compensate for the disruption that the project approved by the Siting Council has caused. Tonight, what we're doing is in conference with finance, we were trying to determine what the most reasonable way to apply this settlement benefit would be to the owners. Because as you can imagine, there's residents who live in their homes, who own their homes, who possibly multiple owners of the same home. So what is the fairest way to disperse this settlement? And so what we want to recommend to the board tonight is to approve this payment as a tax credit on each property, so that if you are one of those properties, you will be getting a tax credit in the amount, I believe, of a little over $1,111. So that will be applied as a credit to your taxes, which is the most efficient way that we believe and fair way to apply the settlement benefit. Executive session, we have some issues to discuss that we'll be discussing together, and that does include also the negotiation of the motor vehicle plate reading contract. This is our effort to bring in a third party to perform plate reading services done via camera and over the course of many months to identify out-of-state vehicles that are not paying taxes in Ansonia when they properly should. And so that the city of Ansonia could realize brand new tax revenue due to that effort, as other municipalities have successfully done. So that's coming up in executive session with some other issues. We have asked a lot of projects going on in the city, as always, but a lot of questions, obviously, relative to those projects. So we're trying to get the professionals on the ground at those work sites to be making reports directly to you, the Board of Aldermen, as we believe that that's even more informative. And we have asked several to be on site on this meeting today to explain the conditions on site and to give you updates. That'll come at the economic development update coming up in a second. But I want to close by mentioning there are many great proposals that get floated around about what can be done in the city of Ansonia, and especially of what could be done at Ansonia and Copper and Brass. But I want to stress this is why we have a bidding process. This is why we have a process where we solicit proposals through a request for proposals or a request for bids. And the reason why we do that is so that a bidder can prove that they are, in fact, a credible bidder, right? Not just that they have a good idea on paper or a good idea in their head, but that they have the capacity to actually put their plan into motion, that they have not just a reputation, but financial bona fides to be able to get a large scale project done. And that is why, while many people may tell us about things that they would like to do or jobs that they would like to bring in or money to be made, if we were to field all of them with no filter, that may not result in a good thing. Once upon a time, there was a developer who had grand plans for every building owned formerly by the Farrell Corporation. And he really did convince the city that he could do great things. And the city declined on purchasing the Farrell properties as a result. And flashing forward 12 years later, that individual is in jail. And he's in jail because he stole COVID relief money. And he left a wake of havoc as a result of his actions. And unfortunately, that individual's actions significantly delayed development projects that could have been possible had the city ignored him and simply purchased the properties themselves. So given that we do have ownership of Ansonia Copper and Brass, obviously we're going to want to make absolutely certain that the developer that we choose, the project that we choose, is indeed the one that delivers. And that does indeed, because I certainly agree with other comments, the city needs revenue, it needs jobs. That is our mission. It's always been our mission. That's why we've been working so diligently over the last decade to secure Ansonia Copper and Brass as a city-owned property, to tap that opportunity for massive revenue, for jobs, for growth of our economy. And that's why we're set up right now. And we're certainly going to be soliciting proposals, but through the appropriate mechanisms. And so with that, and again, in terms of hiring, the Board of Aldermen through the charter has the authority to set salaries as a whole and to negotiate contracts as it always has. And certainly that was done appropriately in the case of any of the contracts that you're looking at presently.
Thank you. Any questions from the Alderman for Corporation Counsel? Joe Cassetti?
Yeah, through you, Josh. John, I had a couple of calls come to me about the soccer goals. What is there anything to report on that? That seems that the old ones are falling apart and the new ones have to be installed, or at least be available to be installed.
So I can talk about soccer goals at Nolan Field, two new sets of soccer goals, along with two new sets of football goalposts are going to be put there. But elsewhere in the city, I likely would refer to Jeff, our rec director. And certainly if there is an issue with a current issue with goals that need to be replaced, that's something that could be requested through the appropriate means for replacement on the fields.
I'm pretty sure that
rec director of Public Works gives us that
was
update.
intended for the field that's being developed.
Nolan, we're not intending to use old apparatus on that field. No.
Okay.
That was included with the contract that you did set to have two sets of each.
That was good. And John, I just wanted to also make it clear that we don't listen to some out-of-town Jasper that comes into town and tries to influence us as to what they're going to do for the city, because we know what we need to do, and we're going to vet whoever we need to do what we want.
I think the mayor would say, quote his one of his heroes to say, "Trust but verify." Ronald Reagan. Obviously, we want to believe in the best, but we want to make sure, again, that there's a capacity to get the job done. Ideas are great, but we need to have the muscle to get it done, from a developer. Because even developers with capacity in today's economy, especially Connecticut's economy, have a very challenging time turning those dreams into a reality.
Yeah. John, a Cassettiism, if I could right now, trust good, no trust better. So we always watch out for the city.
Hey, Joe, real quick. We did approve, funding for the recreational soccer to purchase two new soccer goal frames, which are over at Abe Stone Park. Jeff Bryce, the president of the Ansonia Soccer Club, did send an email out. I don't know if you were on that distribution, but I can forward it to you, where he did include the invoice and what he was able to purchase, which was two frames and I believe 4 nets. So he's able to not only outfit the new goals with new nets, he's also able to replace 2 aging nets that are on the existing setups that they can replace. So they'll have 4 new nets with a new set of goals for this coming season.
Good information.
I didn't think that was approved because we were waiting on to see how much was in the fund. That wasn't approved.
We voted on that last meeting, Chicago, or two meetings ago, I believe.
Multiple meetings ago.
All right. if I could be
I
put
think it was
on
the
that.
June meeting. I think it was the June meeting, Chicago, because we tabled it once during the budget process and then we came back to it.
Okay, my question is how much did soccer get this year? Because Little League had an invoice out there since May, and they didn't get nothing.
I'm not quite sure. I think they applied once for, I think it was either the 2,000 or the 4,000, and then they came back for the goals and they had the funding in there.
No, it was 5,000 and 5,000. It's 10,000. The first time was 5,000, and the second time was 5,000.
I'll have to look because I don't think they're getting 5,000 for what they would normally ask for. The goals were kind of an off the record, off the normal thing that they had requested because the funding was still there and nobody had requested it. And rather than lose the funding, we suggested to him to submit the request. He did, and it got approved.
Okay, so Little League, they were asked to submit one too, and they did, and it was before they came in, and they got nothing still.
Good things are in store.
Beth, did you see that request come in, Beth?
Yes,
It's gotta go through
I believe it was the 5,000 was paid to soccer.
No, we're talking about Little League.
League.
Talking about Little League.
No, not Little League. I know soccer just got a recent payment.
Yeah.
I think it was in this month's vote report.
We actually discussed that and we tabled it because we didn't know how much was in there. I mean, Brian was on that night and he spoke to that.
Chicago, let's you and I connect because I don't recall seeing that. And Josh, I don't know if you remember, but the only thing around the, baseball, softball thing was the clay that we talked about. And I think you and John Paul had resolved that. It was the only thing I recalled that we had talked about for baseball /
you
softball.
referring back to the clay thing when the invoice came in or something else?
Yes.
Yeah, that
They only took care of the clay, but the whole invoice was $2,800.
Yeah. Well, like he said, we can look at that offline, but I'm pretty sure that was resolved a few months ago, the Little League one. But I'll dig that up. And everyone should have received that email from soccer other than Kevin, obviously.
Yeah, I got it.
But
Okay.
I can forward that to him. But you guys should have just received that, so we can square that away.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Thank you.
You're on your own then, Joe Cassetti, to read your email.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to read it for you.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Any other questions for Corporation Counsel from the Alderman? Okay, if not, we'll move on for an economic development update from Sheila O'Malley.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Board of Aldermen. Congratulations, Kevin, and congratulations, Joe Yalman, two great pickups for the city. I also want to say, I don't know if Dr. Burns is still on, but I did get a chance to thank Peter Burns and tell him how much I valued his friendship and his wisdom over the years. So truly grateful that I got to say that to him before he passed. Just can't even express how big of a loss that is for me personally. And actually the Ansonia and the Valley, as the mayor said. So just wanted to reiterate that. And quick story, if I would take so much as a day off, the mayor would promptly call me and say, I just want you to know I've replaced you with Peter Burns. He's in your office. He has his feet up on the desk, and he's the new economic development director. And I'd say, Mayor, that's a great choice. That's a great choice. So I have, as John mentioned, we have Mike Marcinick, who is overseeing the animal shelter project and then following Mike will be Neil Thurber, who will talk a little bit about Olson Drive. Mike, if you could just give us a quick update, and then I have other stuff I can talk about.
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm Mike Marcinick, AEPMI principal. We had a little glitch a couple weeks ago. We found out as we were checking shop drawings on the truss design and the material There were some dimensional issues between the architectural drawings and the structural, which we had to resolve before we could release the design of the trusses. So, the last 2 weeks we've been all scrambling, trying to figure out how do we get this thing resolved fast and quickly. We have done that. We're going to be back. I'm meeting the contractor tomorrow on site to get job back going. The masonry block was delivered a week and a half ago in anticipation, but we halted it just because we knew this dimensional issue was critical to the overall design. So that was a priority for us, and we've been spending the last week making sure that this got done quickly. It has done it. We're just confirming. The structural engineer is now reworking the trusses while we get the final meeting with the masonry concrete contractor on site tomorrow to have him continue. He's going to have to do a few cutting of the outside foundation because they made it just a little too short. So we got to pull that wall back out a little bit in order to get proper drainage for the trench drains to clean the kennels out. So we're back. We're going to be on site and moving it. Hopefully Sheila can help us out, and if we can relocate the dogs for about 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, to Shelton or somewhere else, we can then take care of the rest of the building and expedite everything else in the same time that we're trying to finish the kennels. We can start on the main building and get that thing going as well. But we're going to be pushing it, expediting materials, expediting contractors, and trying to get this job back on track as quickly as possible. Any questions?
Mike, it's Tony. I have a question. So prior to this, like, I guess this trust issue that you're talking about, progress seemed to have slowed down there. And I know, driving by Nolan Field, those guys are up there, they're making significant progress. How far, I guess maybe how long did this trust issue set us back in terms of a delay?
2, maybe 3 weeks max. And we're going to try and expedite some of the other components of this to push it along a little quicker. But yeah, 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. I guess just outside of this issue, what's been the general delay that we've been seeing?
I can't tell you exactly why it has been moving fast enough. I mean, I understand, there's a little bit of coordination that has to go on here because we are building this new kennels adjacent to the existing structure. But we just didn't start when we should have started. I mean, we really wanted to get going sooner. But we didn't get to get going until probably June, I think it was, when we finally got going. And that was the biggest reason for the delay. I can't tell you why we didn't get started sooner.
Okay. So who's responsible for keeping the heat to make sure this progress continues? Is that you?
I'm doing it with Sheila.
Okay.
And I speak to the contractor almost daily. So I'll make sure that this thing gets moving along as quickly as we can. And if we can get the dogs out of there, like I said, for 6 weeks, and that's not a long time, we can make up some time, a lot of time, actually.
Yeah, I think I can speak for the board and probably every resident in the city when I say, this has been a long time coming. Everybody's got eyes on this, and we just want to see this one through, with I think the same level of urgency that they have over at, Nolan. We want to see kind of the same urgency here, and we want to see this, brought to completion.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of progress going forward now. Once we got this behind us, and we're getting going.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Other questions for him while he's on? All right, continue, Sheila.
Yep, I have. I don't know if Neil is on. I can't tell. Yep, he is.
Hey Sheila, I'm here.
Hey Neil. First, just let me say that this is not Neil's firm. AECom is not on site at this project, but Neil does oversee and ensure that things are getting done properly. He's an environmental consultant for us. So go ahead, Neil, if you want to just give us an update.
Yeah, sure, for Olson Drive.
Yep.
Right. I jumped on, I
Yes.
wasn't sure what the prior subject
Yeah.
was. Yeah. Yep. So they're continuing to move in place excess and processed soils on the site to grade for the soccer field area and adjoining bleachers and parking areas. We've just about used up all the on-site soil, which is good because that's reducing resources needed to pay to bring soil off-site. They're close to grade. We're procuring some additional materials now to bring it to the I don't want to say final grade, but the post-final grade before the actual turf materials can go on. So in about 2 weeks, it will be at grade where the field supporting materials in the turf would be able to be placed. In addition, pending some final samples, all the soils that have been targeted to be removed, but based on all the prior assessment work that were identified to be removed from the site due to polluted soils, those have been excavated and removed from the site. There's a couple samples that are in with the laboratory that'll help confirm that that final area that was just excavated was excavated to the proper limits.
Hey, Neil, it's Tony. Can I ask a question? So when do you expect the
course.
results from those final samples to come back, hopefully clean?
Yeah, the end of this week or early next week. It depends on the lab's capacity, but they've been asked to turn that around fast.
Sheila, do you get those results when they come in?
Yes.
And you send those to the full board when you get them, please?
Sure.
This is kind of another project I think that's taken a bit of a long time, and I think the residents, deserve updates and timely things to occur here. This is another one that has to, I guess, come to a status of completion a lot faster than it has been.
Yes, certainly.
Thank you.
Sheila, let me know if there's something else you'd want to see in terms of updates, if it'd be some data or figures or some summaries.
Yeah, maybe just I don't think people understand the level or the amount of contamination that was on that site and what it has taken just to get it to this point. So there's frustration that you can't just lay out a turf field like Nolan Field. Going on a clean site, right?
What's the forum for showing it? Is it this meeting? If this meeting we had like a very short PowerPoint slide or something, just a couple slides that show the summary.
I think that's an excellent idea, Neil. That would be good if we can put something together. I'm happy to help with that.
Yeah, Neil, sorry for my frustration, but I think, and Sheila too, I'm not trying to discount any of the efforts that happened here. I understand, the contamination was pretty deep, and it seemed like each turn or each piece that we did came back even more contaminated for every shovel we turned over. So the notice that the contamination should be remediated, finally, we have kind of like the last bit of the contamination done, because we know that is timely. We know that takes a bit of effort, takes a lot of sign off to continue to move forward. So if we have that where we are quote unquote contamination free, I think that's going to free up a lot for this project to continue to move forward with a lot more speed than we have been.
Yeah, and certainly the developer needs to have the environmental consultants say, okay, this is clean to a standard, to meet the regulations. Not entirely, won't entirely be clean ever, but the developer needs that to move him to the next phase as well.
Yeah, we're on the verge of it. It sounds like though, so it's more than welcomed. Thanks, Sheila. Thanks, Neil. Thanks for your efforts.
Thanks, Neil. Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.
Welcome.
And I just give a brief update on SHW, which Neil is very much involved in. The contaminated soil has been removed from the fuel cell area and partially the part of the road area as well, I believe, Neil, right? Demo of
Yes.
50% of building 12 has been completed. They are waiting on Eversource to cap a line, which will take us through to the next 50%. And just talking to Neil about this, that building is a 200,000 square foot building, so half of it is
Right.
down, about 100,000 square feet. I don't know if you want to add anything, Neil, or
no, you're right. It's half or a little more halfway done. A little less than half on getting the materials actually trucked offsite. That'll start up more frequently next week. And they are coordinating with Metro North for the portion of the building that's near the railroad tracks back there. So that'll proceed right after Eversource comes and takes care of that one line. So the next couple of weeks, they should have the majority of that building down. And then it'll just be a matter of a couple of weeks to load out the materials.
okay. Thanks, Neil.
Yes, you bet.
We met with the Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments to talk about all of the new bus stops that they're putting in the valley, Shelton, Derby, Ansonia, etc. And we'll get you some information on that and renderings too for that. Will look nice. But the train station improvements are underway with Metro North and DOT. And in conjunction with that is a project that actually Peter Burns was working on. It's called CMAC project, and it's going to improve all of the areas around the train station. And I believe probably next week we'll be out to bid on that project. This Thursday, the mayor and a representative, Bill Anderson from VHB, will be knocking on a few of the residents on State Street and North Cliff Street to get their approval and sign off on the right to reconstruct their driveways. So that's happening on Thursday. We have another brownfields round of grants coming up. And we are waiting on an answer on the community connectivity grant program, which is more sidewalk work. And the mayor was talking about sidewalks. That'll coincide with what his efforts are. I think that's it for now.
Thank you. Any economic development related questions from the Alderman?
Yes. Sheila had a question regarding the animal shelter.
Yes, sir.
So given the change orders and this trust issue and so on, I know this is a bonded project. Do we have a financial projection of this in terms of cost at this point?
Yeah, I don't. Well, Mike can speak.
Yeah, there's no
to this as
cost
well.
related to the issue with the trusses. That's incurred by the contractor and ourselves. So right now, the cost is what was bid.
So there are no change orders involved.
Correct.
Okay.
No
And that bid price is estimated at what again?
1.38 and change.
Okay.
Million.
Very good. So we would not have an increase given the.
Yes,
Correct.
they're remedying the design. Obviously, they're not asking for more. So we're going to hold them up to the original price because, of course, we need to hold them to a design that works. So a change order would be something over and above, something that was not anticipated. If the fault was due to a change in condition, like if they dug into the soil and they found like some sort of cavern or contamination, then that's the sort of scenario that would result in a change order. But if the issue is in their specs and on their end, then there's no basis for a change order. They just have, you do apparently lose the time, but they have to do.
Yeah, the only thing that we found that we're working with the city's electrician is that the power to the shelter that goes to 100 amp service was powered by a 50 amp breaker at the Public Works Department. So the mayor is working with to Public Works to see if they can run another line through the conduit and power up a transformer on the other end to correct that. But that's not, I don't see that being a very large issue.
Okay, thank you. And Sheila, related to that, has that state appropriation of 500,000 for the animal shelter, has that been received?
I'm sorry, what was the question? Has it been?
There was a state appropriation of
Yeah.
500,000 for the animal shelter. Has that been received?
All the paperwork is in, just waiting. The state will sign it and send it back to us completed. So we're good to go with that. Haven't spent not even a third of the contract.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Josh, I have a question for Sheila.
Go ahead, Bob.
Sheila, this Eversource has been a problem with that feral or SHW site since before there was ever a shovel put in the ground there. That was a big holdup in the beginning before we ever started anything there. And they're still continuing to drag their feet. Is there some way, I understand if I had a little chicken coop and I lost power to it, them taking their time to get there. But is there any way that an entity such as the city of Ansonia could get a hold of somebody at Eversource and speed things up a little?
Yep, those are good questions and good comments, Bobby. I mean, I think, I think it's a difficult environment in Connecticut with all of the regulations and the regulatory issues that utility companies face. The mayor does have a good relationship with our liaison person, Sam Carmody, but just moving through all of the laws and all of the legislation in Connecticut is very cumbersome and takes time. But yeah, we are in constant contact with them. Usually, sometimes I have difficulty getting Metro North, but I have to say they've been really good with this, and they are coordinating with Eversource. But you're right, there's been like 3 delays, and our demo guys are ready to go, and they're just waiting on Eversource. So fingers crossed that's happening tomorrow. And then, yes, a point is well taken, Bobby.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else? Questions? All right. If not, we'll move on to the next official. Chief Williams is not here, but standing in his place, we have Lieutenant Pat Lynch.
Thank you, President Stewart. Good evening to everyone on the board. Very quickly, our personnel issues. We currently have 5 officers in field training. 2 of them will be finishing up this week and being released to solo status. We have 7 open positions, 1 being a sergeant, and we're hoping to fill that in the next month or 2 from internal promotions. And we are still hiring. We have 2 people that we're trying to get into a September academy to try to fill the 7 openings. We are still in Tier 2 accreditation. Lieutenant Froelich and Officer Fagan are working through that. Our canine program, we have purchased our canine and is in our custody. Officer Fowler has had the canine for a couple of weeks now, getting acclimated at home, and his training is going to start the first week of September. That'll last about 12 weeks before he's back and fully running with them. The chief has completed his reconstruction of the administration with Lieutenant Barrera being promoted. We now have back to our 3 lieutenant system. So Lieutenant Froelich will be professional standards, which is accreditation, training, hiring, internal affairs. Lieutenant Barrera is taking the administrative investigative services, which covers the detective bureau, evidence and records. And I will remain in operations, which covers patrol, dispatch, the animal control officer, and public information. You have a transfer tonight for your approval to pay off the crosswalk signs, Bridge and West Main. That's been an ongoing thing. The repairs were done, and then there were more issues found afterwards that we got it. So the chief was able to find some money through the accreditation because we pushed some of our accreditation stuff back to the end of the year. We were able to push that back to the end of the year. And just lastly, I just wanted to touch really quickly on item 5, the paving and the talk of speed tables. Just so that everybody's speed table is considered a form of traffic control. Traffic control falls under the authority of the Board of Police Commissioners. So they have been adamant in not approving those. So I think that might be something that needs to be discussed through your board tonight before you take up that issue. That's all I have. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Lieutenant, would you, and I know this comes up at the commission meetings practically monthly, different forms of proposed speed enforcement.
Yes.
Is that something that you guys are able to then, the commission would be able to work with, in concert with the city, on the best locations for that, in addition to the other items that are included in that?
I can't answer for the commission. I can tell you that we take all of the speeding complaints and we do speed surveys, and consistently the speed surveys we've had, while there has been some speeding, I'm not going to say there's no speeding, the overwhelming majority of issues of speeding are not there. Just as a quick side note, we had the speed sign up on Wakely Avenue for over a year. And in that time, over 500,000 cars traveled southbound on Wakely Avenue between Franklin Street and Jackson Street. 2% of those cars went over 41 miles an hour or over. The fastest car was a single car that did about 57. But that's in about 15 months of data being collected. The average speed was 32 miles an hour, which the posted speed limit is 30. And just as a reminder, some of the speeding is directly related to the emergency services from Seymour, Beacon Falls, and Oxford. That's the main route from their locations into Griffin Hospital. So we do look into speeding. We are constantly doing speed surveys and addressing the issue as we come. I can say in my tenure here, we stayed away from speed tables because they bring a whole bunch of other issues in, and then it just kind of proliferates from there to where you're going to put them and who wants them. So it's just something to consider. It's not as simple as putting it down and then it's done. There's maintenance, there's other things. They still cause damage to cars. So it's not, it's not the magic elixir that I think some people think it may be.
Thank you. Questions for the chief, lieutenant, tonight from the alderman?
Josh, I have a question.
Yep. Go ahead, Bob.
Lieutenant, is there any more of those stop signs with the blinking red lights encircling them? Like there's one now on East Main Street at the one-way part. When you're heading north, you see it on the one, before you hit the one-way part. Is there any more funding for some more of those signs? Because I know in my ward, I have 2 excellent locations where those should be put.
Okay, that's something that we can review with the Board of Police Commissioners. As far as the funding goes, I know there is some funds out there for them. The one on East Main Street, I believe the chief gathered funds internally, and those signs are fairly expensive. I think it was $2,500 for the sign. But it is something we can consider. We look at accident data. That's why the one is up on Pulaski and Prindle, because there was constantly accidents going down that intersection into the stone wall. And then East Main Street, in the short time that's been turned into the one-way, I think we had about 5 accidents in a little less than a year, and 5 pretty good accidents. So that's why that stop sign was gathered. But if you have streets, sir, I would say that fire off an email to the chief or to Dawn, his executive assistant, with the streets, and we can take it up with the police commissioners and figure out if that's somewhere they need to be.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Any other questions for Lieutenant Lynch tonight? All right, thank you. And again, we'll be taking up those road items later in the agenda. All right, move on to Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Joseph DeBacco. I saw him earlier. I hope he's still here.
Yes, I am. Good evening, President Stewart and members of the Board of Aldermen. I did want to comment, Attorney Marini brought up on Saturday, July 26th. We had an issue with one of our float valves getting stuck in the on position, kept calling for more diesel fuel for our backup generator at the high school. I do want to say I absolutely deeply appreciate the work of Timmy Holman and all the people from Public Works. Jason St. Jacques, I can't say enough, being able to scope some of the pipes for us. It was greatly appreciated. I did want to share today, we had our new teacher orientation. It's about that time, everyone here, it's about that time to see those yellow buses moving. I do want to let everyone know that this Friday, we will do our 7th annual kindergarten canvas, where we go to all the homes of our incoming kindergartners with our staff, with a book saying, welcome to kindergarten. Our kind of motto says, now that we've come to your house, families, now it's time to come to our house. So please, be part of the process, come to school, be part of the process with us. August 18th, we have our convocation of our staff. It'll be our kickoff. And August 21st, that Thursday, will be our first day of school. And after our first day of school, I hope to see probably Tony Levinsky over at Grassy Hill, because we'll have our Teamster Sikorsky dinner, which I hope it's a great way to start the year, where our students who worked at Sikorsky will be getting offered a job at Sikorsky. It's a great way to start the year. I think first day of school and students getting a job at Sikorsky, it's a great way to begin the 25-26 school year. I thank everyone for the support and as we start a new school year, but I'm here to answer any questions anyone has.
Any questions for the superintendent tonight from the alderman?
Joe, I just have a follow-up question before the school year starts. And again, congratulations on the 21st. That's a great early opening in our state, which is wonderful. Just the last time we had you or the chair of the board in front of us was when this board made the decision following three budget referendum defeats, to enact a 3% tax increase, which was the maximum tax increase we could enact, and assign it exclusively to the Board of Education in its entirety. And our thought was, or the information seemed to be at that point, that taking that amount of money plus the significant increase in state aid that you received for the 25-26 school year, that the needs of the school system could be met. But the answer to that question was not entirely clear at the time. I'm wondering if you could just bring closure to this, and you may not be prepared to answer this at this point, but at some point, can we get a report on what was actually cut or not cut, or if there were any cuts as a result of your budget reconciliation, given the resources that were assigned to the school district?
I can at least tell you the last round of when we had to cut 500,000 more, that resulted in not hiring back staff members, social workers, psychologists, BCBAs, a technology position, a data position. And what we did was, and we're actually going to find out what kind of impact that does have on us, because the only way for us to cut $500,000 was by was headcount, Dr. Adamowski. And I know you know that I don't buy $500,000 of paper clips, so I just can't cut 500,000 for paper clips. So it was going to be a headcount. So
okay, so I'm just trying to get a sense of this relative to the list that you put out initially, I think after the second referendum, which contained, I believe, something like $600,000 worth of cuts, right? The action that this board took was trying to mitigate the need for that. So could you just, at your convenience, could you just send us a report that, or make a report that shows relative to that initial list, what was cut, what was not cut, what was actually reduced in order to reconcile the budget, given the revenue sources that were assigned to it. I think this board made every effort to try to do everything it could in terms of your in terms of your funding. But again, it may not have been completely adequate, and I think it would be helpful to see what things would what positions were not filled, or economies had to be made.
Yeah, the answer is yes. I will send that out at a later date for
Great.
everyone.
Great,
But
thanks.
I also don't want to be remiss. I just want to let you know, we had the police and fire, everyone was working with deep. I think I was remiss in sharing that it was a concerted effort that, both fire and police were there as well. I want to make sure that everyone understands that when Ansonia rallies together, everyone comes to help out. So I'm sorry that I definitely didn't include police and fire.
Thanks.
Hey, Steve and Dr. Joe, if I may add on to that, and Rich as well. This board took an assortment of heat for the late budget because of an assortment of things, including some of the incomplete financial data coming from the Board of Ed. So
Not our fault.
Can you guys give us maybe just in that same update, or can you include a statement just where we currently are in terms of getting those financial processes aligned with what the city does?
You do that.
Thank you.
Other questions? Education questions from the Alderman tonight?
Keep your chin up, Joe.
Got it.
Dr. Joe has homework.
What's that, Bob?
Dr. Joe has homework.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's summer reading. We got it.
Yeah.
Summer reading program. Thank you. Well, if no other questions, we'll end the public official session, and we'll move on to financial reports. Starting with the Finance Committee.
Make a motion to pay all bills if deemed correct, Josh.
Second.
Motion by Mamone, second by Cassetti to pay all bills. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Next, we have the boat recommendations.
Motion
Make a
to
motion.
accept.
I'll second that.
Motion to accept by Cassetti, second by Mamone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries again. And the last one is the request for refunds in the amount of, I have it here in front
It's
of
a
me.
lot this month.
Yeah, where is
Yeah,
it?
there's a big one on there.
$5,114.08.
I'll make a motion to accept the request for refund report in the amount of $5,114.08.
A second.
Motion by Mamone, second by Tar. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries again. We have a bunch of monthly reports. These should have come in, I think, today or yesterday. And I'd just like to always acknowledge getting those. I think it's been a great resource for us, receiving those reports from the department heads. So I want to acknowledge those and just accept them, place them on file.
Make a motion to accept them and place on file.
Second.
Motion by Mamone, second by Cassetti. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, moving on. Almost on to page 2, but not yet. Hey, somebody call Cassetti, get him back on here to finish out. Maybe we can get done in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
We have no accidents and claims this month. And then we have a few communications. We got 3 communications. We'll start those in order. The first communication you received in your packet is from Jay Feiner, Chief of the Ansonia Fire Department. And I asked him to be on tonight. I believe he's on, as well as First Assistant Chief and Deputy Fire Chief Anthony DeLucia, I believe, is also on to answer any questions we may have. But The communication was pretty clear and succinct. This also appeared in the Valley Indy recently, but explained how local, regional, national, and international shortages and changes in volunteerism have sort of caused some strategic realignment, if I can sort of describe it. So they explained the proposed realignment, which is within their purview, and they also proposed the sale of one of the two engines. They proposed to relocate one of them to the Hilltop Hose for better usage, and the proposed sale of engine number 4. And I see Chief is on. I don't know if you want to speak to this or you just want to be available for questions.
I'm available for questions.
Okay.
I think I pretty much explained everything in the letter.
Yeah, I thought it was very well written. Any questions from the alderman? The request is we don't meddle with the internal operations, so the realignment piece is that's on the fire department. The proposed sale of city equipment is actually our purview. So they're proposing to sell one of those older engines, but more importantly, to retain and reinvest the proceeds from that sale back into the fire department. And it's explained in that letter some of the things they would like to do, including a UTV for use on the Riverwalk, and some other things as well. So that does come through us. So I don't know if any of the aldermen have any questions or comments or
So
the chiefs.
Josh and Chief, I got a question here. So do we know an approximate like market value for what engine 4 would command out on the market?
The best I can do is we're trying to go through a company called Brindley Mountain. They're a fire truck sales company. They have currently a piece of apparatus on their website that is almost a twin to engine 4, and it's currently listed at $185,000.
Wow.
This company retains 10% of the sale of the apparatus for the work on it. But I spoke with their rep. We started the process just so I could have some answers for you guys. And they do believe that engine 4 could be listed for that $185,000. So that's where I had come up with, if that is the case and we were able to get that and they get their 10%, we should be able to get one UTV, which we're in need of. We desperately needed it up at the high school. We had to call in multiple mutual aid towns to help with that. Arms has one, but it doesn't have a pump on it. If we ever had a brush fire, say on the Riverwalk or in the woods, the nature center, we'd have to call Derby and Seymour to come help us with that because we couldn't do it. And then, we have 2 Chiefs vehicles currently. One of them is well past its lifespan, but we keep, bringing it up, stringing it along. And we'd like to eventually outfit all of our Chiefs with Chiefs cars. We're the only current Valley town that doesn't have all of their Chiefs in Chief cars.
Okay. And I definitely support that. I just had John Paul, if you're listening, do we have a process, I guess, to get these guys into cars? Because I assume the fire department wouldn't be responsible for, funding these continually. So do we have like a city process if these guys are gonna, move into these cars?
Yeah, we can sort of set them up with I think we can replicate what's been done in some similar areas for employees with vehicles.
Okay.
Well, it's been in our capital plan for probably the entire time I've been a chief, so close to 8.5 years.
Okay.
We were trying to get it on a rotation that we'd buy a new car every 2 years, and eventually all 5 chiefs would have a car on that rotation. And then when a new chief came in, it'd be his turn to get a new car, and that would stay with him until he was done with his 10-year. If you know how we work, you're assistant for 8 years and chief for 2. And then when you got out, that car would get replaced and would be a continuous rotation. Obviously, with budgetary restrictions, we haven't been able to do that. So we're trying to do it ourselves by selling a fire truck.
No, I get it. It makes sense. And then just the ongoing plan for the city to keep that up, if you guys jumpstart it. So I'm obviously in full support of that. So, just wanted to, say thanks. Just as Josh said, we're not going to, meddle with, the internal workings of how the fire department works. So appreciate the detail and all the efforts that you put into, especially, getting the engine sale going already as well. So appreciate that. Thank you.
Other questions or comments from the Alderman? Joe Cassetti.
Through you, Josh. Hi, Chiefs. How you doing tonight?
Wonderful.
All right. Just wanted to know, is this a brokerage house that you're trying to sell this through? If you sell this on the side, is it under contract? Do we have to work specifically with these people?
I have not signed anything with them yet.
Thank
I
you.
didn't. I talked to them directly and told them I had to. I've kept them in the loop every step. I went to the mayor first. I went to the board of fire commissioners, and then I'm here with you guys. I wasn't going to sign anything until I had the permission and pretty much a guarantee that if I do sell the fire truck, that we get to reinvest the sale of that fire truck. If there's other ways you could go about it. I actually offered it to Derby, but Derby wasn't really interested. So I thought this was the best way. That's what they do. That's all this company Brindley Mountain does is sell used fire apparatus. Figured that was the easiest way, and they have the most experience in doing it. Besides me, like putting a for sale sign on it and parking it on, one Main Street.
It was Facebook Marketplace, right?
Yeah. Then I'd get some bot offering me $25 for
Woo!
Of course.
eBay.
Only if you ship it. Yeah.
Brindley Mountain also sold our last fire truck in 2017. So we've
Do we-
used
do
them
we-
before.
Right.
Do we have any liability, or is that kind of like as is, here you go kind of thing?
It's going to be as is. We can provide them all of the inspections. We have detailed inspection records. We have detailed pump test records. It's going to be an as is sale.
Okay.
That's how we plan to put it on the market. And we're picking engine 4 because it has more life left in it than engine 1, which should give us a better return on investment when we sell it. If we're approved to sell it.
All right.
And
And if
then
you're approved and you do sell it, and rightfully so, you should be able to have some strings attached to that money.
Yeah.
If I could talk, Commissioner, I was going to call you Commissioner, Mr. President. Just a quick educational for all the aldermen. Every other year, we put between $15,000, $16,000, $17,000 in each incoming assistant fire chief's vehicle. That's lights, sirens, computers, pretty much everything that your Bridgeport Fire Department would have. So we're obligated to do this when we get these new vehicles on the back end. That's obviously saving probably next year another 18, 20,000 because everything goes up. So for the last couple of years, we've been committed to spending that money every other year for the incoming fire chief. So again, in the long run, once this process gets going, it's going to save on the back end, which is important.
And what Chief's talking about is that's in their personal vehicle.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Right.
Matt Pitney just came in, and we're putting close to $18,000 worth of lights, sirens, radios, and computers in his personal truck. And now you have to go around and tell your insurance company, hey, by the way, we put, I'm running priority 1 lights and sirens to calls in my POV. Because if you get into an accident and your insurance company doesn't know about it, it's going to be a problem.
Last question, I promise, and then I fit my quota. Do we have maintenance contracts on engines 1 and 4, and will we be saving anything there that we could allocate out towards outfitting the newer vehicles?
I'll refer to Chief DeLucia. DC DeLucia is in charge of maintenance, but I know we're spending a lot of money. We just spent $7,000 to fix a valve on engine 4. And it was because it wasn't utilized. The valve wasn't operated because it's not getting out. So we had to fix it in case we did use it at a call. But I'll let Chief DeLucia speak to the rest of the maintenance.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, over the last couple of years, our maintenance budget has gone up significantly. Luckily, the city's been great with us with not having us hold anything, and we were able to, get everything rolling. But with the deletion of one truck, obviously you would think our maintenance, will go down a little bit, but obviously the prices of labor and the cost for all the equipment. You put fire department on something and we're paying 3-4 times more. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast we're in. So to answer your question, possibly it could, but we still have 4 other trucks to maintain.
Yep.
Actually 6 other ones to maintain. So, it's a crapshoot. I hope so. I really do.
And we have, 3 brand new apparatus on order. So when
Right.
those show up, a lot of that work will be warranty work for at least a little while. So between the 3 brand new apparatus, the deletion of 1 piece of apparatus and 1 just being used as a spare, hopefully that'll relieve our maintenance budget considerably.
Yeah, I think I just saw Middlebury just took receipt of a truck that they had. I think it was a pumper truck or a ladder truck that they had ordered. I think it was almost 4.5 years ago. So it's probably gonna be a bit, which is
for sure.
crazy.
I don't think our first truck goes in the build until December of next year.
Yeah, we should take delivery of our first truck December of 26, January or February of 27, and then December of 27. So
Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the info.
Yep. No problem.
Thank you. You guys and everybody that you work with, tell them a salute.
All right, with that, do we have a motion to approve this request?
I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion to approve it, Josh.
I'll second.
Motion to approve the sale of engine 4 from Mamone, second by Cassetti. Any further discussion? All in
Josh, I
favor?
have a
Go ahead.
question
Yes, Bob
for the
Knott.
chief. Chief, what happens if you don't come close to the number that you're expecting to get for engine 4?
That is a good question. I think we're still going to sell it. This is the best market that we can go with right now, and they do believe we can list it for 185. I don't think we're going to get pennies on the dollar. I can find out what it says about if we have a bottom on this. I have the paperwork in front of me. I don't see anywhere on here where we could put a bottom, like if you were going out to an auction where you could put a bottom number on there.
A reserve?
Yeah, a reserve. Yeah. I can look into that.
Okay, and what would you buy? Do you have an order of items that you would purchase if you didn't get the amount that you were looking for? Like, what would you buy first, the UTV or?
I think the UTV currently is the most important piece of apparatus for us. Hopefully we could at least get 1 car with the sale. It would be great if we could get the UTV in 2 cars. That'd really put us ahead of the curve. But I would say UTV, Chief's car, and then second Chief's car.
And do you know how long that similar truck that you were talking about that's listed right now? Do you know how long that thing's been advertised?
No, I do not know how long it was on the market. That one was just a little bit different because that was owned by Brindley Mountain. That wasn't being sold by a fire department.
Okay.
So I don't know the background on how they became owners of that, but our sale is going to be them selling it for us, and we are the owners making the sale. So Brindley Mountain only gets their 10% of the sale of that truck versus the one that was online. The same apparatus, same body, same pump, same everything. How they became owners, I don't know. But I think we're going to be close. If we don't get the 185, I believe we're going to be close. That truck's in really good shape. It's got a generator on it, good pump on it.
Thank you. I'm all for the sale. I just wanted to know if you had a backup plan.
Thank you. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? All right, all in favor of approving this request as stated?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries unanimously. Thank you guys for coming and answering questions as well, and for your efforts.
We really appreciate your support on this.
Yes,
It'll
thank
go a
you
long
for
way.
everything.
Always.
Yeah, keep us updated, guys. Let us know how you make out.
Will do.
Take care. Thank you.
Take care.
You're welcome.
All right, second communication is from Connecticut DOT, Justin Ruddy, regarding acquiring property for the MNRR Waterbury Branch Station at 30 West Main Street.
Yes,
Right,
there
this is-
are,
It's an easement request, so also we do need an 824, so I put a recommendation on this and get it from planning and zoning.
You've
Motion
requested
to
824
refer
or-
it to planning and zoning for an 824.
Second.
but, okay.
So is the,
Hold on, wait.
wait, is it
Discussion.
strictly an 824 or 824 is part of it and you also need an easement?
You can do it pending an 824 referral, I think, but this is just,
Now, there are times we've done an approval contingent on a positive 824 referral. So if you'd like to kind of save time in the loop, you could do that. We've done
Let's
that
do
before.
that.
this is for it's for the train station improvements. They just need easements.
Do they have access to this easement already, Sheila? And this is just something is this like a standard thing?
They need to formally get approval from you folks
They need,
to
yeah, you need to transfer property rights, easement rights.
yeah.
So that's something you need to approve, but planning and zoning does need to give a referral. If it's, it can be contingent, but remember, if it's not positive, it needs to come back to this board.
Okay, then I'm gonna modify my motion to say to approve the easement based on the documentation provided pending the positive 824 from P and Z.
And I'll still second.
Okay, so motion by Mamone, second by Tar. Any discussion on this?
Thank you, Bobby.
All
Yep.
right, in favor of approving that?
Aye.
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 Any opposed or abstaining? All right, motion carries. Thank you, guys, and let us know how that works out with the for number 3. Probably won't be any discussion on this one. Contract for Chief Operating Officer and Director of Human Resources. Communication 3. This was discussed at the beginning, the middle, and now again. How do we want to proceed with this? You have
Motion to approve.
contract you've received. We've discussed this for several months now.
I'll second that motion.
Motion to approve by Cassetti, second by Mamone. Any discussion on this? Questions, clarifications? All right, let's take a vote then. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any
Abstain.
one abstention, Rivers?
Yes.
All right, so motion carries and approved. Congratulations.
Just to note, this board is going to miss Joe. You know, all of his commentary and expertise and his information that he provides. He's pretty invaluable to this board. So we're gonna miss him dearly. So, but best of luck to him.
Absolutely.
He's not going too far.
That was my plan for many years.
I feel you, Chicago. I feel you.
If you don't mind, I'm going to tell him that Rivers voted against him.
Oh, that's good.
Nicely played, Stuart. Nicely played.
All right, we have no appointments on this month's agenda. The one resignation we already approved. That was the resignation in the 5th Ward. We did prove that in the special meeting earlier. Resolution. There's one resolution from this came in from Jared Heon. Is he on? By any chance?
No, I didn't see him.
All right.
He said he was, so he was originally, I don't know.
This is the city of Ansonia, the fiscal year 2025 state homeland security grant funding and custodial ownership of regional assets in DEM HS.
Don't we do this every year?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
This is like a boilerplate resolution that I believe we do.
Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Mamone, second by Rivers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We have nothing under ordinance. We have, oh my God, we have 7 items under new business. Sorry, I thought we had 4 minutes to go, but I guess we have another 3 hours. Number 1, City of Ansonia and Accavello and Company contract extension. This was the contract for the external auditor that was in your packet.
Motion to approve.
I have a question on this.
Okay, hang on. We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Motion by Cassetti, second by Rivers, and we have a question from Mamone. Go ahead.
The term on this has been the same term that the I guess the past 2 or 3 times that this has gone through, correct?
Exactly, the renewal
The
terms,
length, I should say, the length of the contract.
same as the previous renewals.
Okay, no further questions.
John, quick question. How far back does this firm work?
Firm has represented the previous administration over 12 years ago.
Okay, thank you.
This is nothing new.
All right.
Just a question to John on that. John, I was under the impression that there was a state regulation or law on the term an auditor could serve before you had to change auditors. Can you comment on that?
I don't think it applies to an auditor in this situation with an internal audit. But I could provide a follow-up detail on where it applies and how it relates to Ansonia.
But it does not apply to the audit of city finances?
No, I don't believe it applies to this internal auditor situation.
Okay.
There are cities and towns that have used auditors for 20 and 30 years. So unless we're going to be an example.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any other further questions on this? Motion to approve? Aye.
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 Oppose? Abstentions? Motion carries. Number 2, this was mentioned in Corporation Council's update. Solar project settlement at Ben Street, Hill Street. Residents will get $1,111.11. All ones.
Wait, I have a question on this one, Josh.
Go ahead.
Didn't we already pass something months and months ago as to the distribution? We had a list of all the
We did.
families, and I thought we had passed that already.
You did.
Is this the
You
same
did.
funds?
The same list is in front of you, and these are the same funds. It's the
Right.
number of distribution. So we
So we
originally
never paid them when
contemplated-
we initially did this.
We never paid them because we did not receive the settlement check from the solar company.
Okay,
We had a disagreement with the solar company as to whether or not the city had, whether they were supposed to comply further or we were supposed to comply further. And we said, look, we've done everything we need to do. And they have recognized that that is in fact the case, and they have paid us the funds. So now that we have the funds, we went about the task of figuring out how to actually get the money to the eligible parties. And originally, I think it was envisioned kind of simplistic. We were just going to give out a check, but then we realized the situation was a little more complicated than that. Sometimes you have situations where the property is owned by a family, so it's more than just one person or even a husband and a wife. Sometimes there is a situation where it's a bank-owned property, right? And also on top of that, there is actually a need to get a W-9 from everyone that gets a check pursuant to our auditors' regulations. So what we decided to do is to recommend this to you, that we instead dispense the settlement as a tax credit on each property. That way we ensure that whoever is paying the taxes gets that credit. No W-9s,
okay,
no running around with checks needed, no worries about disputes with multiple owners. It's just going to be a credit on the taxes on each property, and whoever's paying those taxes is going to realize that savings.
okay.
That's great.
I motion.
Second.
Motion by Rivers. Who was the seconder on that?
Decided.
Betty or Mamone, you pick one.
Oh, Cassetti, seconder. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed on that?
No.
All right, motion carries. Thanks for your work on that. Number 3, this was also mentioned earlier, the draft of the fields policy. This is not anywhere near being a final version. This was the first crack at it that we requested a few months ago. John, do you have any comments on this before the aldermen pipe in regarding the draft fields policy?
I don't, except to say I think we need to have a subcommittee, and a subcommittee that has the energy and time to get to work on it. And I would envision this being a small group that works with the rec director to start refining the policy, while at the same time calling in our various representatives of rec sports and of course school sports to get their perspective and to sort of juggle, all of those tasks within the next month. So we're looking for some dedicated individuals. It's an important project. I think the more input, the better. This is something not to complete in a vacuum. So we're looking for some aldermen that really want to get into this project, and it's real. I think it's going to be a task to be proud of. The end results, the first field policy for the city, and this is the governing document for how the new Nolan Field, will be run. So it's important.
So we
Josh, I'd
make
like
a
to be
motion
considered.
to refer it to the newly created advisory committee once it's formed.
So I think if we're not going to go forward and impanel a new Recs committee right away, I would say it should be a committee of the Board of Aldermen to get things moving. And then the Board of Aldermen has the ability to call whoever you'd like to you, whether it be the various coaches, the presidents of the various rec divisions, to work with, of course, our athletics director Brockett at the high school, and any of his staff.
Well, I would be very interested in getting on this board.
I
As would
nominate Alderman
As would I,
Rivers.
Josh.
All right.
Hold on. I don't think it works like that, but Josh, I'd also like to express interest.
Okay, thank you. I will connect with the city, and I will reach out to you guys and also recommend a subcommittee to get things moving.
But for this, Bobby, I know you have a motion kind of on the floor, but I think we probably just need to, place it on
Table
file,
it.
take no action. Yeah, and table it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I'll change my motion to table it or to take no action.
Yeah, so you
And I
wouldn't be
think-
actually taking an action on the policy because it's first draft.
So,
Yep.
no action. Tar, who was the seconder on that?
I'll second it.
Second by Mamone. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll table that. Or take
Hey,
no
hey,
action.
Josh, I'm really sorry. John, I'm not sure if we could just get a note back to Jeff. Can we somehow, and again, I don't know if we need IT involved, but can we somehow turn this into an electronic form?
Of course.
Maybe a Google form of some sort that's on the
Yeah.
city site and kind of have
That's-
like a
Makes sense.
like a calendar, similar to the city calendar, have a field calendar, who's booked, when, have a link to take you to all of the legal fun stuff you enjoy, and then have the application out there, what they need to do in order to submit it, and then have it come in like that versus, I think we want to pace maybe the Connecticut DMV a little bit further, and they're pretty automated. So if we can get some
So,
electronicness, if that's
believe it
what
or
you
not,
want.
there's already a recreation calendar that's set up and ready to go on the
Awesome.
city. So it just needs to
Awesome.
be populated. And of course, the vision here is the long-term vision, or maybe I shouldn't say long-term, really think it needs to be done within a month or so, is that once this is in place, we do want to move forward with our Parks and Recs Commission that's
Yep.
going to be tasked with that month-to-month responsibility of the fields and coordination with what we see to be the advisory group, the larger group of the different representatives of the actual teams. That way, they could be working in tandem with Public Works to make sure the physical aspects of the fields are taken care of and where they need to be, and the scheduling aspects, because it's quite a lot of coordination needed when you talk about all of the uses that are going to be possible with this new field.
Yeah, we're a bit behind in that area in terms of scheduling, John, because there's already, games getting scheduled out for, fall schedules are coming out
All
and
the
things like that.
schedules.
So we need to, Josh, we need to get on this one.
Okay.
Next item was mentioned by the mayor and a couple other times. This was his proposal to name the park after Peter Burns Sr.
Which
So Josh, I don't personally know this gentleman. He sounds like an amazing, guy and just an overall, asset to the city. And he was just an amazing guy. So, I'd like to reserve the honor for somebody to make the motion who knew him, and I'd be honored to second it.
I knew him.
Hit it, Joe.
Go
I
ahead, Joe.
I approved the request to make Burns Senior an asset to the city. We give him a park named after him.
I'll second that.
Motion by Cassetti, second.
Thank you, Tony.
The address was mentioned earlier in the meeting. I forgot. It's like
One Prospect Street.
Right.
Yeah.
That was good.
Is the site of the old Ansonia High School across
Yeah.
from the churches.
It's about time it was finally named.
Thank you, Steve. All right, all in favor of that proposal?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. Congratulations. Thank you. It was great to see his son on as well. I know he lives far away, but
Yeah.
that was great. All right, next item. This was mentioned by Lieutenant Lynch earlier. This was the list of roads / sidewalks / speed tables proposed for 2024 to 2026.
Josh,
So-
I would like to make a motion that we go forward with the sidewalk and street paving project with one caveat. I know there is a couple catch basins on some of those streets that have sunk, and if we raise those up to grade before we pave, I'm all in favor of it and hope that everybody else jumps on board also.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob.
Second.
Second by
Wait.
Cassetti.
I
Any
have a-
further discussion on this?
Wait. Do we have to split this though? Because the speed tables do have to go to the police commission. So do we need to like sever these and vote on we can vote on the roads and the sidewalks, but we don't have the authority over the speed tables.
What do you mean we don't have the authority?
Maybe what you could do is approve with the caveat that the implementation of the tables will be done alongside consultation with the Board of Police Commissioners.
Well,
That's good.
I don't know about that. I mean, you know, they could kick it back and say, no, they don't approve of it.
The
But, you
police
know, we're the ones
department,
sticking our necks out here. And
Speed
we want to
tables
make
are
sure
enforcement,
that the
Mr.
problem that's
Cassetti.
been in front of us all this time and no action has been taken, that we finally have a path to approach
No.
this with. And I think that that's the best way to do it, is to install these tables.
The Board of Police.
Speed
I
tables are an
agree.
enforcement issue.
The Board of Police Commissioners, will certainly get the message loud and clear that we'd like to implement these speed control devices, but by working with them, right, in concert, as President Short had suggested, we can make sure that we're putting these devices in the appropriate places for safety, avoiding any unintended consequences, and making sure also that they're placed where they're most effective, those areas where they're really going to stop speeding traffic. The kind of speeding traffic that we're worried about, not say emergency vehicles or, it doesn't go off our intended target. So I do think it's a good collaboration on that issue, and it certainly wouldn't hold up the paving of any streets because obviously speed tables would be the final piece to any of these projects.
Lieutenant Lynch just about told this board tonight that they are not in favor of those things.
Oh, did you get that drift?
Yes.
Yes.
And
And
we've
it's been that
we've-
way, and that's why there's
Hold on,
never
guys.
been anything done about the speeders.
That's right. We've asked for these before and never got them. I think that we should go right around them.
We should.
Hold on,
We don't
guys,
need
hold
to
on.
do anything
Guys,
with it.
I don't agree there, guys. First of all, there's other considerations that you're not, you're talking about we've ordered new fire equipment, and apparently at the last commission meeting, it was brought to the attention that they've spoken to the first responders and it can do damage to those vehicles, to the new fire trucks, to the old fire trucks, to the ambulances, no matter where they're placed. So I do think we need to take a look at this before just going forward. I mean, we're spending a lot of money putting new equipment on the road. We don't want that equipment to be damaged because we want to do enforcement, which is a police matter, not an alderman matter.
This
I'm
opens
just
the
throwing
door.
that out
Yeah.
there.
Well,
This opens the door to some real good collaboration between.
It's been in their wheelhouse for many years and nothing's been done. So now we have a solution to a problem and we're going to dance around with it? No.
It may not be the solution without any unintended consequences, though, Joe. That's the point.
Well, we make it clear to the, the responding emergency vehicles that on such and such a street, they must, we put up signs, let them know.
I think it's good to have a well thought out plan.
But those
and like
minutes those minutes saves lives, Joe. I don't want to be in a situation where the aldermen approve a speed table and now you have an ambulance who's got to stop 4 times on a road because we put a speed table
Like I said,
down and and it puts someone's life in risk.
Well, I
I'm
don't
just saying
think
we
that-
need to really take a look at it before this board is willing to pass something that's not in our purview. We are not speed enforcers. We're trying to do what we can do, but that has to go through the people who are tasked with enforcing. I don't know if Lieutenant Lynch is here, but I know Chief Williams said he spoke with fire, ambulance, and other first responders on what the detriment is to those three departments.
But
our
we need alternate solutions then, Bobby, because I think the solution of, there
I
is no
don't
speeders
disagree.
is not it, because every ward has faced constituents calling them, Joe in Chicago, I think every meeting for the past 2.5 years, it's a raceway, and you could hear it even up in the hilltop here. You could hear it echoing through the valley. People were just ripping down Wakely. So I don't think, I don't think it's in our wheelhouse. I'm not going to pretend, I know kind of what, they do or what their process is to get there. But I think we need to take a second look at it if the data is old for the speeders. But even the 2% of 500,000 cars, you're still talking 10,000 cars. There were some emergency vehicles, but you need a couple of those that turned sideways. You just had a car in front of Duncan that was upside down.
Of
course.
So I don't know if speeding was a factor there, but to say, nobody is speeding, I don't think is the correct statement either. So there needs to be additional looks at this.
We could ask the
Yeah,
Board of
I
Police
don't
Commissioners to
disagree.
put
Place
this on the
there's a
next
school,
agenda.
any street that has a school should have them. And if that's a problem, I don't understand why they wouldn't think that, safety for children would be a problem.
I
Yeah,
do
I
agree
don't
with Alderman Tart. She is correct. There is a speeding problem in the town, but emergency vehicles can go around certain speeding roads, but speeding will not alter, or speed tables will not alter speeders. Lieutenant Lynch made a good point where it will damage vehicles because people are still going to speed even if you have speeding tables.
Sure.
You could
Yeah.
put them there, but it's not going to solve the problem. It's going to cause more issues. Somebody just said the car was upside down in front of Duncan, but there's no speeding tables. That's not even a turn. That's a flat area. How does the car wind up upside
Yeah,
down?
I just think the residents in those areas have been begging the mayor to do something with the speeding.
For
And
years.
and we have suggested numerous things.
Yeah,
And I would suggest that, yes, your traffic commission has to make the decision, but I would suggest that this board, at least support the effort to bring some solution forward so that the residents get some relief.
I would say,
I think we would support putting, some of the pressure or some of the heat back on the police commission to come up with a solution, Sheila, that they can do something, whether it's speed tables, whether it's, whatever they have in their arsenal. If it's ticketing more, again, something needs to be done. We can't just say we don't have a problem and just let it continue.
yeah, I mean, I'd recommend meeting right away, getting onto the next agenda for the Board of Police Commissioners and having a joint subcommittee meeting to talk specifically about this proposal and other options as well in terms of speeding, because the residents certainly are crying out a lot.
No, there's definitely a problem.
You do see it. You do see it firsthand.
Well,
We're also going to wind up seeing a ton of expenditures when people start damaging their cars, and they're going to be filing claims with the city, and we'll be backed up for God knows how long with those claims. I mean, there's both sides of this. I understand that definitely something has to be done regarding the speeding, but I don't think we need to just say this is the end all be all. We need to look at it and see what pressures we can put on the people who are charged with enforcing those speed laws.
Well,
I think people are confusing speed tables with speed bumps.
No.
A speed bump is a lot higher than a speed table.
Well,
and I don't think
like
the
a crosswalk, a
right.
raised crosswalk.
I don't think the city would be responsible for any damage of cars because there's going to be signage and lineage.
Not gonna
So
matter.
if they go over them, too bad.
I can say that there is an alternative option, because when I go to Queens, and I get a speeding ticket home and I'm on a regular street. Cameras, period.
Right.
But speed cameras could be an alternative.
Well,
As
we've
a
been
truck
waiting.
driver,
We've been
as a
waiting
truck driver,
3
speed
years for
bumps
the
and speed
cameras.
tables are different, and
We've
it
been
does
waiting-
make a difference.
Yeah.
We've been waiting 3 years for the cameras, and they still have not made an appearance.
Right. Josh, I just wanted to speak to the proposal in general that is motion to and seconded, you know, which includes the sidewalks, paving, and the speed tables. So I think this is, taken in its totality, this is a very important step. Very important for the lower wards where infrastructure has not been addressed for maybe the past 50 years. So this is a welcome step forward, I think, for many neighborhoods that would be touched by this. And as far as the speed tables go, you know, every community around us utilizes them, particularly near public buildings and schools, as Joe Cassetti mentioned. And I'm sure we can figure this out. I'm sure we can figure out what every other community around us has been able to figure out with the collaboration of the police board. So I just want to say how strongly I support this proposal overall, and you know, really congratulate the mayor and staff on putting this together.
Thank you, Steve.
Curious if there's any comments from Police Commissioner Levinsky on this?
You know, I'd just like to make one point, and it's not really related. There's a lot of cons to go with the pros of the speed table. A lot of people come to police commission, they request them. Some of those are, like they said, with the emergency vehicles, it's going to slow them down. There's trouble with plowing the snow. There's trouble with noise, actually. When the car goes over, the neighbors hear noise. There's also a problem with drivers that go around into the gutter, so only two wheels go over, and they're risking losing control. And there's people that don't pay attention. They're going to hit that speed and either damage their car or wreck their car, and they're going to come to the city looking for reimbursement for the damages. That's
They've got insurance.
I think it's a big liability. I think APD is the traffic control expert, not the Board of Aldermen. That's my opinion.
What do you guys think about the initial comment that was made about, I don't want to say taking the speed tables out, but having the list of the roads, proposed roads, the sidewalks fully approved, and
severing them,
insisting on a conversation, basically going to the next police commission meeting to liaise with the police commission and not try to boss them around, I guess, knowing that they're the local, you know, traffic authority.
I would
support
say
that.
I was
Absolutely.
that and you know, as I said, I know that we've talked about, you know, cameras for 3 years, but this is putting heat on them. We have to do something because I mean, and especially over here, okay, in the 5th Ward, which is the best ward in the city, we got a lot of
Well,
you got
gotta
all
have a
those 558,000 cars on Wakely. No, but
right.
seriously, we do have that camera plan in place. We were waiting for the allocation to come in to install them, but that never materialized. So again, there's been hiccups in our plan. We started that many years ago talking about those cameras, and you know, it's been there. It's just never come to fruition yet. So maybe there's a way we could look for some kind of federal grant or some kind of state grant to get those cameras installed before we rush to do any kind of speed table enforcement.
I agree. Because I get tickets all the time from Queens.
Oh, New York's good with that. They'll send you the ticket for everything.
I know you go down Francis Lewis Boulevard, you go 3 miles over it.
That's right.
Your door.
Well, the 5th Ward is just like Queens.
No, way
No,
bigger.
not at all.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Nice
So the
work,
west side
Bob.
is the best side, man. Come on.
All right.
One more point, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to mention that the Ansonia police are constantly doing enforcement. And I give them credit because they do a lot of hard work and they secure a lot of grants to put additional officers
Right.
out on the road specifically for traffic enforcement. They do a great job. I see it all the time. I see it at police commission. I just want to get that out there. But I think this is a huge problem, not just in Ansonia, but statewide. People just drive crazy now.
Agreed.
No, I would agree. And I don't think we're taking anything away from the police, Tony.
No, we aren't.
Yeah,
I just think
they
I just think the
really put
comment.
in a great effort.
Yeah,
No, the
I agree.
Ansonia
I
Police
agree.
Department is amazing.
No, they're again.
I'm a
top
truck
fully
driver. I
support that.
drive through a lot of the state, and the Ansonia Police Department is one of the best out there.
I
And I
agree.
recommend you guys.
Absolutely.
But again, we're the voice for the constituents, and again, they're seeing speeders, in all wards. We Josh and I, from there's a gentleman on our route that every time we stop and talk to him, it's people flying down, Bend Street, people flying down Ford. So it's kind of the same commentary. So I think it's just that comment that people just aren't speeding isn't correct.
I would certainly agree with that. I think that this is compounded in our residential areas by people who don't stop at stop signs.
Yeah, that's
Right? This is what the residents are reacting to, right? So, I think the role of the police commission might be to determine, where these speed tables should go in terms of technical expertise. And if there is an alternative that would take the place of this. But again, all I can tell you is that you go to communities around us and you will see these. And they're in strategic places and they're an important part, and not the end all and the answer, but they're an important part of controlling the speed of residents. And this is an important issue for us in the lower wards, particularly where we have a lot of rentals and we get a lot of out of town people and we get
children playing in the street.
Exactly. It's a safety issue. It affects the elderly. It affects children. It's a quality of life issue for our neighborhoods.
Can we come to a conclusion here? I think we have a motion in a second. So either
We have a motion in a second. I don't think this is going to go well if we're doing an all-in vote. Bob, you're the motioner. Do you want to stick with the original motion or and vote on that?
Can I read what I've been putting together?
Sure. Thank you, Chris.
Because I've been putting something together while you're all talking.
Right.
Move to go forward with sidewalks and street paving, including raising the sunken catch basins up to grade before paving. And further, the implementation of the speed tables and any proposed alternative is to be considered in collaboration with the Board of Police Commissioners.
No.
I could live with that.
Perfect.
All right. Motion a second. Levinsky, what do you think of that?
Aye.
Yeah, you're good with that?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
I'm
How
good
about
with that,
Bobby?
Josh.
Not implementing speed tables. No.
That's
It
not
said
what-
implementing.
That's not what he said.
Trish, can you read the last piece of
I
it again?
said the implementation of the speed tables and any proposed alternative is to be considered in collaboration with the Board of Police Commissioners.
Right.
That means you're going to talk
Okay.
about it with them first.
Yeah.
Good.
All
And I
right.
didn't get who seconded it.
Strategically.
That was motion by Not, second by Cassetti, I believe.
Yeah.
And thanks for being smarter than the rest of us and putting that together. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Hey, Frankie.
Any abstentions?
I'll abstain.
One abstention, Tar.
Actually, no. I'll vote no.
One no, Tar. Okay. All right. Motion carries, and
Sorry.
we'll have a nice little group showing up at the police commission.
Commissioners.
All right. Number 6, related, was just a list of all roads paved and fixed since 2013 to 2025. This was mentioned by the mayor. I don't think we need to take any action on that.
Nope, I just want to underscore that with your action that you just took, we will cross the threshold, paving our 100th road in only 12 years.
We get
Which is
Sunday-
likely at this point more roads in less time than any time in Ansonia's history. So you have certainly put your, skin in the game in terms of infrastructure. And of course, road paving is always done very even-handedly, affecting all wards equally, lower wards and upper wards. And again, you're at 97 right now inside of 12 years. And that's very impressive given really any town or our past statistics. So congratulations.
Thank
John
you.
Paul, are we able to put that on the city site? And I know we'll probably get a list of another 97 roads that need to be paved next year, but we just at least socialize that, because again, I know folks, one, are always asking what roads are on the list and what's happening and things like that. But like you said, it is a significant accomplishment, and I think it is one that should be celebrated.
Definitely.
Good
we'll
idea,
post-
Tony.
Great. All right, thanks. Moving on, last item under new business. This was mentioned earlier, the Ansonia tennis and basketball colors. And I see Coach Kish is still here, I believe.
He's
John.
long asleep.
Would certainly the mayor's office would certainly echo, I think, Coach Kish's recommendation. We also like the dark blue, Charger blue with the gray. However, it's a good point. Just like we argued over the logo, we want to make sure that the colors end up well distinguished from each other. So there's
Yep.
good color separation, good visibility. And so I would say, it's up to you at this point. You want to recommend other color combinations? Would you like to just put it into the hands of the rec director? And I would say probably tennis, Coach Kish, to kind of go back and forth on how they would like their courts to look. This really affects obviously rec basketball and of course tennis.
John, I don't think it's the purview of this board to be selecting colors for anything, including this. And I think this is the purview of the rec director with community input. So I'd like to see if we could leave this to the administrative process.
We
I
did it for
agree.
both the fields so far, so I would disagree with that, Steve.
He made some good points though about contrast with balls and with the lines and stuff. So
Yeah.
I would defer to their expertise in terms of what's
Yeah.
the most visible.
I think
what's
it may
the
be
I
a
agree.
little bit of general color, the dark blue. I would imagine you guys probably would have arrived at the same conclusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So John, what other variations can they offer? So I think we said this dark blue color that matches, maybe some of the blues on Nolan Field, and then the white and the gray. Again, I don't know much about tennis.
It's sort of a very color separated green and blue. Did you see that?
That's nice.
Like green in the center and blue outside and some highlights like the center court and
Yeah, but I
under
think he was talking about inside the court itself. So there was like grays and whites for lines, and I guess that would cause outages for.
Tony, if I could speak, yeah, it's just the blues on the inside, and the lineage is obviously your out of kind of the out of balance lines. Anything that's gray or green would be outside all your non-play, non-in-play area. So it would just be the line. So I just, you have that outside line of where the outside service courts are. That's distinguished. If it ball hits that line, it's supposed to be in. But if you're not sure if it's on the line or if it's in that gray, depending on, like I said, the distinction between that hard white color versus if it's too soft a gray, you may blend the two. That's our concern.
So why wouldn't you go with all white then?
Just white are just the lines. So if you're looking at any of those pictures in the demographics,
Yeah.
the
Right.
the inner court is that dark blue.
Yep.
And you still have white lines within that for the service courts and the service lines. Those have to be white.
So we
I
just
see what you're saying.
contrast,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
contrast for the out of bounds.
okay.
You're out
So
of
we're-
bounds, yeah. So if it's on the line, it's considered in. But if it's not on the line and it's in that gray or
Right.
green or whatever color we decide to go, that is technically out of bounds. And our fear is like, if it's right on the line, we want to make sure we can distinguish. Yep, that's absolutely on the line because it's hitting the white line versus hitting the gray. If it's blended together, then it defeats the purpose of having an out of bounds.
So we seem to be in agreement on, what the court color would be. Would the board be okay with Coach Kish working with us and working with Jeff on?
I agree with Coach Kish.
Good, so we don't delay anything.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah,
You
we'll
can give us
defer
some
to that.
renderings and we'll
He's
take a
got
look at
great
what it
input.
looks like with the actual final rendering as to how that contrast looks.
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks. And thanks
The
for
other-
coming and also for staying for so long.
The other question I didn't really bring up is that 2 of the courts need to, oh, maybe Coach Kish, don't run away because maybe your input here is
Yep,
important.
I'm here.
2 of these courts were going to also be marked for pickleball. Is there a preference as to which 2?
Not an answer.
Yeah, I don't
Come on
I
now.
don't see an issue with, yeah, I mean, we typically play our strongest closer to the street. So when we do our first 4 singles, we play our number 1 on that first court, 2 in the middle and 3 in the far. It really doesn't matter. I don't think, I mean, if you want them pickleball, older people probably playing it, even though my wife, I've played it before. So I'm not saying I'm old. I don't think it really
2 and
matters.
3?
It's noisier toward the street unless we're going to do some sort of buffering, something in the fence line to kind of buffer out sound. So the only thing I would say is probably, if I would do it, be the middle and the one closest to Nolan Field.
2 and
Would be my
3.
suggestion, just to alleviate some of the noise, because it is pretty noisy on that street.
2 and 3. All right.
Do you,
2 and 3.
does that have to be a certain color, John or Steve? for
I
those
know
lines for
nothing
pickleball?
about pickleball. I don't. Most of the ones we play, they're like the temporary pop up. I think the last one we were at was in Woodbridge. So I'm not an expert on pickleball. I really just go to play tennis, and my wife and some of her friends will play it. So I'm definitely not an expert on that. Tennis I can speak to. Pickleball not so much.
So Milford provides extensive pickleball facilities to its residents as well as lessons. I think we can just look at what they're doing and perhaps do the same thing.
Do a copy, yeah.
Okay, so we'll consult with Coach Kish and Jeff on finalizing that, but I think we have some general good guidance and we'll be able to get the order in and get this going.
Okay.
Hey, John, would we consider doing the light blue color, maybe just to keep it cohesive, what we did for,
See how that
soccer
light
lines on the
blue-
football field
Yeah, we
and
can see how
football
that
and
would look.
soccer?
Yeah, maybe that could be one of the renderings they make for our review, to see
I don't
how
know
the
if it's,
blue
yeah,
could
if it's
be.
too far off, just to, again, so we don't have like 72 shades of blue going here.
It does make a nice theme with the other fields on the inner.
It does say online, pickleball courts do not have specific color requirements.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm
I'd
looking at
like a
one with like light
magenta.
blue.
Yeah, I think the pickleball courts can be just lined in white, actually.
It just
Yeah,
says, yeah, common colors for playing surface include the green, the blue, and the tan, while the lines are typically white, black, or bright yellow.
If you're going with a secondary, remember, just like before, white is generally the primary sport, and then you have a secondary color like yellow, or we did
Yep.
blue. So it's probably going to be something around the same. The blue and blue may clash, though. They may be a little too difficult to discern. But we'll get renderings, we'll get opinions and renderings for Field Turf, and then we will review it with the rec director, Coach Kish, and all those that would be affected by playing on the sports, on these courts for their sports.
John, I found an image online. I'm going to send it over to you. Maybe we could use it as kind of the basis of conversation with the Field Turf folks.
All right, anything else on that? We don't need to take any action then.
Yeah.
On that, other than what you're gonna do. All right, moving on to old business. Old business number 1 is Olson Drive and animal shelter updates. We got both of those earlier in the meeting, so we don't have to do anything with that. Number 2, also mentioned, was the Rec and Fields Advisory Committee. Any update on that, John, or just basically what you mentioned before, that's sort of following along behind the fields policy?
We certainly could do that, but I would advise we do the adoption at no later than our next meeting, as I'd like to get them impaneled.
Okay, so we'll plan on appointing those people at the next meeting. You guys good with that?
Good.
All right, so that ends our regular session, unless there's any other old business that's not on here. But I'm
Motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Session by Rivers, second by Tar, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Move to executive 9:30.
Add time. Have everyone back. Motion to come out of
Trish?
executive session.
Second.
Wait, Trish isn't here.
Yes, I am.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
oh, I didn't see you up top. Sorry.
Here.
Okay. Motion to return to executive, regular session by Mamone. Was there a second on that?
That was me.
Second by Rivers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. So in executive session, we had 4 items to discuss. I'll take them in order. Number 1, negotiation regarding contract for economic and grant services with Shelton Development Corporation. What's your pleasure?
I'd like to make a motion to extend an offer and upon acceptance, have both executed contracts and file with the clerk's office.
Second.
Motion by Tar, second by Not. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? All right, motion carries unanimously. Number
I
2,
have a question on that one, sorry.
yes.
Contracts plural? 2 contracts?
No,
One
one.
One contract.
Yeah.
Okay. It just,
Right,
Yeah.
they would be executed on both sides, if they're executed by both parties.
got it.
Number 2, negotiation regarding renewal of budget director contract.
Motion to take no action.
Second.
Motion to take no action by Tar, second by Mamone. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? All right, motion carries unanimously. Number 3, I'll break up into 3 pieces. These are all pending worker comp claims. 3A, J billing. I'd like to proceed.
Motion to give authority to corporate counsel to settle on terms as discussed.
Second.
Motion by Tar, second by Rivers. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. 3B, T. Holman Senior.
A motion to authorize corporate counsel to enter into negotiations as discussed.
Second.
Motion by Tar, second by Rivers. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. And third one, 3C, H. Danley.
Authorization to enter into negotiations as discussed.
Second.
Motion by Tar, second by Mamone. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. And the last item, number 4, negotiation of the MVA plate collection contract with Municipal Tax Services LLC.
Again, a motion for corporate counsel to negotiate as discussed.
Second.
Motion by Tar, second by Mamone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Kevin, hit it. Hit it, Kevin.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, good.
Gotta be awake to do it. You know?
Yay.
Hey, good.
Good job, Kevin.
Yeah, nice
Have
job,
a good
Kevin.
night,
Welcome
all.
aboard.
We'll give a
You have a
second to
wonderful
Rivers
night.
on that.
Thank you,
Aye.
everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Aye.